are open at Arsenal, but it's really opening up just maybe Southwest Avenue, so it hasn't changed a whole lot. Southbound 55 from south of Gravois down to Bates is bumper to bumper. Westbound 64 midway between Grand and Kings Highways backed up to McCausland. It's slow. Clayton Warson to 270. Clarkson to Topgolf. 94 midway to Winghaven and 364 out to 70. Southbound westbound to Highway 70. Riverview out through Jennings Station. You've still got a little heavy traffic along the airport and from 270 to Blanchette. Approaching Zunbelt to Cave Springs, and then from 79 out to Bryan Road and A to Z, it's a little more solid. Eastbound 70 looks like you got trouble at Hanley. It's jammed at the Innerbelt. Northbound 170 is backed up north of Page up to Natural Bridge because of a crash. South 170 is on the brakes at Olive as well. Next update at 5:20 from the Michaels Flooring Outlet.com Traffic Center.
Sponsored by Gloria Lou with your home sold guaranteed realty 314-325-6888.
Need to sell your home and you want the most money? The name to remember is Gloria Lou. Yes, Gloria Lou with your home sold guaranteed realty at 314-325-6888 and start packing.
News, traffic, and the latest from the world of sports. This is Rush Hour Sports on 104.1 FM KMOX.
All right, welcome into Wednesday on Rush Hour Sports. Matt Pauley still in Orlando, but not for much longer. Just till tomorrow morning, right, Matt?
Yep, that's correct. And I'm one of very few people that are still here. This place is emptying out very quickly. I would guess that Heim Bloom and company have already arrived back to St. Louis.
Probably a good bet given when you described the time of the day that they were leaving. Obviously, we got a lot to do today. Plenty of hot stove. We're going to be hot stoving it throughout the day. So if there's a topic you're interested in that we bring up, great. If we don't bring it up and you want to, feel free. That's what the chat is for, the comment section, whether you're on Facebook, YouTube, or Twitter. So feel free to jump on in. Matt, let's just start with today, and then we'll branch out from there. But first, with what Heim Bloom had to say today before they all bugged out.
Yeah, not a whole lot was said. Today was probably kind of like the least amount of content that we got from Heim over the few days. He did make a pitch, and we'll play this just after 7 o'clock on Sports Open Line tonight. We'll play the audio. But, you know, he has been refreshingly honest with the way he has talked about this team and what they are trying to do. And I think by doing that, people are just expecting this thing to be bare bones, just a terrible major league team next year. And that's not what he's doing. So when the focus of the words that he's been saying has been that, you know, they're going to focus on the long term and not the short term, and not that that's not true, it makes everybody feel like this is going to be a bad team. So he kind of made a pitch for why people should support the team and the excitement that will go along with it. So I thought that was notable. We spent a lot of time talking about relief pitching. Part of that was connected to the Rule 5 draft because they're bringing in a guy who projects out to be in the bullpen, and there continues to be a lot of talk about JoJo Romero possibly getting moved. The idea of needing to have relief pitchers who can cover multiple innings because they're going to have a really young starting staff that may not be able to go really deep into games. So I think that was kind of the main things that we heard today from Heim.
Yeah, it's not a surprise. I mean, I think that they're happy to do this rebuild, but I just don't think anybody involved is looking to be picking first overall in the draft next year.
No, they're not. And again, I think Cardinals fans are so used to hear. Like, sometimes we get comments that say, "Oh, Heim Bloom's just another John Mozeliak." What are you listening to?
Yeah.
Like, honestly, what are you listening to? Because you know a word that he doesn't use, Kevin? He doesn't talk about patience.
No.
You know, maybe at some point that word has come out of his mouth, but that man does not talk about patience. He talks about urgency. So even if you can have urgency, doesn't mean next year the team has to be better. Urgency means that you need to work with urgency, with a sense of urgency in doing what you're trying to do. And what they're trying to do is turn this franchise around and reinvigorate it with talent, and that does take time. But he's never once said the word patience. So we get these people on the comments saying, "Oh, just another John Mozeliak preaching patience." Like, what? Have you gone to the podcast section and found a show from 2 years ago? Like, what are you listening to? That's not what he's saying or what he's doing. So I think it's important that, because if John Mozeliak would have sat here and talked about, well, we need to focus more on the long term than the short term, then I think that's a dog whistle for we're going to be terrible this year. But if Chaim Bloom says that, I think it's him just speaking very honestly about what's on his mind and what the focus is, but that doesn't mean that the upcoming season doesn't matter. Look, they're probably not a playoff team. They're probably not even a 500 team, but that doesn't mean they're a non-competitive team, if that makes sense.
No, if anything, you're hearing me say the word patience. I haven't heard Bloom say it, but I'm saying it because as a fan of teams that have gone through rebuilds, it takes patience. If you treat every day and you analyze every day like you do when your team's a contender, you're just going to be pissed off all the time. You're never going to be in a good mood. You're never going to enjoy a ball game. And it's not fun when you don't think your team is going to be good. But what's even worse is continuing to dig yourself a hole. And when you're already standing in a 6-foot deep hole, put the shovel down and find a way out.
Yeah, and that's what they're going to try to do. And look, I'm not trying to sit here and sell people on the team. I'm really not. But if you're a fan of baseball, going out and watching Mason Wynn play every day isn't the worst thing in the world to do. Watching Alec Burleson continue to develop after a Silver Slugger season. If Victor Scott II can just take the smallest of steps offensively and be a little bit of a weapon there, being able to watch him go do his thing in center field, all the while guys like J.J. Weatherholt might be there, and Liam Doyle might get there at some point, and Quinn Matthews might be there right from the beginning of the season. Like, these are all core players of what's going to be a competitive window that's going to open up at some point in time. That's entertaining baseball. I can't tell you how many times, and I'm not trying to get on a soapbox here, Kevin, but I can't tell you how many times this past season. Okay, fair enough. I can't tell you how many times this past season, sitting at the ballpark, something amazing would happen. Like Mason Wynn would make a play, or Victor Scott II would make a play, something that 99% of other big leaguers can't do, and 100% of the rest of humanity can't do. And I'd look around the ballpark and I'd see nobody there. In a city like St. Louis that loves baseball so much and loves the Cardinals so much, and I understand why the fans stopped coming, and this is not like to shame them into coming, but I did lament in those moments that there weren't more people sitting in those stands to watch something that was pretty dang cool.
Well, the TV numbers were still good, so if people weren't
okay,
going,
so
and by the way, our numbers on radio were pretty good still too. So people are still paying attention. They're just not spending money, which is fine. It's when you start losing the paying attention part that you have a little bit bigger concern. We got one question popping in here from Lauren. We might as well hit this since we talked about what was happening today. Lauren asked, Matt and Kevin, what do you guys think of the Rule 5 pick in Rule 5 draft for the Cardinals? So that was reliever Matt Pushard. So you got a chance to be there and see it all happen and get the reaction from Hyman and from Randy Flores. What'd you hear?
Yeah, and I was in there for I've never gone to the Rule 5 draft before. I've gone to the the winter meetings time after time after time. I don't know why I've never gone. So this was the first time, and sat through the whole thing, sat through the minor league phase of it as well, and it was certainly interesting to see how that played out. They're really excited about this guy, and some of the rankings had him as the top available player of Rule 5 eligible player. So look, first and foremost, he has to make the team, and if he doesn't make the team, he'll be offered back to the Marlins for the whatever the $50,000 or whatever it is. He's a guy who's got swing and miss, and then more importantly, something that we've talked about a lot today, Kevin, the ability to go more than 3 outs, to cover multiple innings, and just being able to safely cover starting pitching that may not be going deep into games consistently. That is really top of mind right now for Chaim Bloom.
Yeah, I think it's a sensible play because he has things that you haven't had, right? I mean, and I don't think this is at the level of Matt Swanson because he was a much younger player and was viewed as a little bit more of a prospect. Pushard's had a tough developmental schedule because he was 6 years in college, and I think some of that was because he got disrupted during COVID, if I remember correctly. Although he may have been in pro ball by that time. Yeah, he was in college at that time. So I think that kind of delayed him because he didn't even get out of college until he was 24. So the fact that he's 27 now, going to be 28, is not really because he hasn't performed. It was just because of the college circumstance, and he's a reliever. and relievers are never really propped really high up on prospect rankings. But what you have is a fastball that's very tough to hit between 94 and 97. It's got good, all the people that analyze pitches, a lot of run on the fastball. It got ride, which is a big deal. That's what makes a fastball seem faster than it actually is. And that he's got 2 effective breaking pitches. So, we'll see. I would imagine he makes the team, and he would probably have to be pretty awful to not make the team, considering that you have a lot of room for help in the bullpen.
Yeah, I think he's likely to make the team. I'm going to be really interested to watch what happens with Cade Winquist, because he goes into a team that's expected to compete. And, Randy Flores was asked about Winquist. And for those who don't know, Cade Winquist was taken from the Cardinals, and he goes to the Yankees. And to paraphrase Randy Flores today, he says, "We hope for the best for Winquist, but we won't be upset if we get him back."
Yeah, I'm not trying to judge too much, but I mean, there's a reason he didn't get protected, just like all of these guys. And then there's a reason that he wasn't really rated in the top 30 prospects for the team either. But I understand it, because he had some characteristics they liked, and it seemed like they were ready for him to maybe take a step.
Yeah, so we'll see. It's going to be easier to stay on as a Rule 5 guy for the Cardinals than it is for the New York Yankees.
No, that's a really good point. And unless they're just looking for someone who can be like, the break glass in case of emergency long relief guy, but how long can they carry that? And we'll see. We'll see.
Can't. Yeah, not in today's baseball. You need to be able to use your entire bullpen.
Absolutely. All right, we've got more coming your way. Matt Pauley is still in Orlando. We got some more baseball. We got some moves. We've got a few big names. Is that going to start to clear the path for other moves and maybe some damn trades? From the Cardinals' view, all we're really worried about are some damn trades, although maybe a starting pitcher, but I think that's going to be a thing that's later in the winter after some guys kind of fall through the cracks a little bit. But we'll get more into what's happened in the last 24 hours and what it might mean coming up next on KMOX.
Overhead Door Company of St. Louis, the genuine, the original, present 100 years of KMOX.
We're celebrating number 4 and number 5. Let me hear you on your feet as loud as you can get.
There, when we said goodbye.
Today, we recognize 2 of the most beloved players in Cardinals history, in Yadier Molina and Albert Pujols.
Both of you have given so much joy as we watched you play this great game.
I want to thank the Wii family and Mo for believing in me all these years and give me the opportunity to play baseball here in St. Louis.
And to all of you, Cardinal Nation, thank you so much for all your support, all the joy, all the tears that we have shared together.
There for every headline, every heartbreak, every heartbeat. KMOX, the voice of St. Louis.
Overhead Door Company of St. Louis is hiring residential garage door technicians and installers. Join the team trusted here since 1926. Apply today, get a call today. No experience necessary. We will train motivated applicants to repair and install garage doors. Mechanical, carpentry, and service industry experience is a plus. Hiring bonus up to $4,000. Benefits include health, dental, vision, and pension. Earn as you learn to service the best garage door customers in St. Louis. Apply today at OverheadDoorSt.Louis.com.
When you want a brand new kitchen, there's nothing to it. There's a brand new way to do it. 3-Day Kitchen and Bath.
Rochelle talks about her experience with 3-Day Kitchen and Bath.
It was a wonderful experience. I had heard about them on the radio. They come out to your house. They let you know what they do. They let you pick out your features, your colors, and then they come into your home the morning they start. They walk you through, this is what's going to happen, and you leave for a few days, and you come home, and it's done.
Was it easy?
It made it easy because you're not in the middle of a mess for 2 or 3 months. Left on a Tuesday morning, and it was done on a Thursday night. We came home Friday morning early because we were so excited.
What was your reaction when you first saw it?
Wow.
It's about time.
3 days or less
at 3-Day Kitchen and Bath.
You're listening to Leaf Filter Radio, and the guru of gutter protection himself, Chris Coonahan, is here to take your most pressing leaf-related questions.
Hey, everybody, Chris here. I understand we have Ron on the line. Ron, where are you calling from?
Uh-oh. Ron, are you calling from a ladder?
Well, I was. I wanted to ask Chris what I need to do to get my gutters ready to have leaf filter installed.
Oh, Ron, you don't have to do anything. A Leaf Filter Trusted Pro will come out and clean out your gutters, realign and seal your gutters, and install Leaf Filter, America's #1 gutter protection system.
So I didn't need to get on this ladder?
Ron, Leaf Filter Trusted Pros are in your neighborhood and ready to help. Just visit leaffilter.com/deal to schedule your free gutter inspection and get up to 30% off.
Thank goodness. What was that site?
To get this special radio offer, go to leaffilter.com/deal for your free gutter inspection today and get up to 30% off. That's leaffilter.com/deal for up to 30% off. leaffilter.com/deal. See representative for warranty details.
If you want thick, healthy, gorgeous hair, then you need Hair Volume from New Nordic. Available as a tablet or delicious gummy, Hair Volume is available online at Amazon and newnordicusa.com or in the hair care aisle at your local CVS.
Traffic from the MichaelsFlooringOutlet.com Traffic Center.
Well, they're still working this crash in the left lanes northbound 170 at Natural Bridge. Northbound 170 is jammed back to Olive. Southbound 170, they both jam at Olive. Southbound's jammed Olive all the way down to 64, so real mess. They cleared that crash to the shoulder. Eastbound 70 at Hanley. Westbound 70 at the city limits, a little busy. There's still slow traffic both ways, really, between 270 and the Blanchette Bridge. Westbound goes to 5th Street, 94 to Zunbelt. 79 most of the way to Bryan Road, A to Z in Wentzville. 364 has a little backup coming through Harvester and then Youngerman through Mid Rivers. Westbound 64 west of Grand to stop and go pockets out through the city limits. Spady Ballas area still a little busy at Topgolf. 94 to Winghaven. 364 to 70. That's all heavy. South 270 jams south of 364 down to Manchester, but it remains slow in pockets all the way down through Tesson Ferry northbound south of Manchester most of the way up to Olives. Busy westbound 44 west of 55 to Grand is still bumper to bumper from the earlier crash at Arsenal. Southbound 55 44 down to Bates is backed up as well, and westbound of 44 and eastbound 44 for that matter delays downtown between the bridges. I'm Roger Brand in the MichaelsFlooringOutlet.com Traffic Center.
From our family at Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation to yours. Happy holidays.
You want to hurry this up, Mark? I'm freezing my baguettes off. Relax, Grandpa. Air Comfort Service is on their way. Aubrey, you're not doing anything. You want to let me know when they get here?
Honey, her eyes are frozen shut. Plus,
avoid a 5-alarm emergency with an HVAC system check from Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation. Learn more at aircomfortservice.com.
This is Rush Hour Sports on 104.1 FM KMOX.
All right, it's Rush Hour Sports on KMOX. Matt Pauley in Orlando. Kevin Wheeler with you here back in our KMOX studios. And obviously, you are welcome to join in if you're watching on the stream. You can jump into the chat on Facebook, YouTube, or Twitter. And, of course, if you're on the radio side, you can just text 314-436-7900. Fantastic to be talking ball, Matt. We didn't get as much action on the trade front, not just for the Cardinals, but just in general. We didn't get a lot of that during the winter meetings. Doesn't mean it won't come out of the winter meetings. But we did get a few of the biggest names off the free agent market. I mean, you had Diaz sign. The top closer in the game leaves the Mets to go to the Dodgers. We had Schwarber, which we talked about yesterday. We talked about Pete Alonso maybe going. Well, now he's gone. He is crazy that the Mets have a bunch of fan favorites that are just walking out the door, which tells me that Steve Cohen's got some spending coming, because I can't imagine he's going to let those two guys walk without doing something with it.
Yeah, I'm not totally sure what they're going to do here moving forward, but they're going to have to certainly get creative. I think David Stearns, their president of baseball operations, works best when he's kind of in a corner and has to get creative and doesn't just have all the spending money in the world to use. So let's see how that plays out. I'm not going to sit here and tell you that it was good that they lost Alonso and Diaz, but I think the world of Stearns, and I kind of thought that he lost his ability to be creative when he started just throwing money around thanks to his owner.
Yeah, it's not going to play in New York, though. He can't run this like it's the Brewers, because he's going to get run out of town.
No.
I mean, like...
No, you're right. And
go ahead.
They still have Juan Soto on the roster, so like it's not the same.
Well, no, I mean, but they've lost three very popular players in the last few weeks with Nimmo, Diaz, and Alonso. And I'm sorry, but if you're replacing Alonso with Mark Vientos, fans are not going to be okay with that. They're going to want you to add to this, and then you get into this interesting, and you just took on Marcus Semien, which was a very interesting and odd move to me, because, yeah, he can play a little defense, but he's 35 and been in decline. And your starting rotation is still a mess. You've got some talented young guys, but I mean, your best veteran starter is probably David Peterson. Kodai Senga maybe, but he finished the year at AAA. Like, they got a lot of work to do there, and I'm not sure it's of the variety of, well, we'll find what's his name? The kid they brought in Milwaukee, Myers.
Oh, yeah.
It's not like they're going to be okay with that.
No, they're not. And I have faith that he's going to fill that roster up in a way that it's going to end up being fine.
I mean, if Devin Williams isn't a stud, they're gonna kill him for bringing his guy and letting the other guy leave, whether that was his call or Steve Cohen's call, which, to this point, we don't really know. I know that what was worrying about the deal with Alonso to the Mets was the length of the contract. And it's a lot. I mean, like both Schwarber and Alonso, you pointed this out with Schwarber. Guys that are 32, 33 getting 5 years, it might not be great at the end of it. And neither of those guys have much to lose, right? If they lose what they're good at, they don't have anything else. Versus some other guys who have, like Nolan Arenado has lost a lot of his offense. He can still play great defense. These two guys don't help in that regard.
No, they don't. And that's a lot of money for Alonso. He got $5 million more than what Schwarber got.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, when Schwarber signed that deal with the Phillies, I was standing with somebody and I said, this is going to make the Orioles sign Alonso. They're going to get him. And I had some pushback when I said that, but I really felt strongly that Baltimore wanted to get a slugger, and that was kind of the last guy that was going to be available to him. So I felt a little bit vindicated, actually, today when that deal came down.
And look, it makes sense. The Orioles are in a position to be a little bit more aggressive, probably because their guy, Mike Elias, he's probably doing this to save his job right now, because the Orioles were the most disappointing team in baseball last year, if not the most, one of the most. And they have a lot of kids that are now blocked forever. So I'm guessing they're going to turn around and trade a couple of those kids to get the next starting pitcher, because they do need another top-end starting pitcher.
Yeah, I was talking before the Alonso thing came down. I was talking to somebody, and I threw out my whole, well, they didn't get Schwarber, so they're going to have to get Alonso. And the pushback was, well, they'll spend money. This Schwarber thing is going to motivate them to spend even more money, but that money's going to be on pitching, not on hitting. So I still think they are going to go out and get a legitimate starter to be towards the top of that rotation.
Yeah, it's a fascinating time right now, and we'll talk about the Cardinals' end of this coming up after the news, because I do think some of this plays into potential landing spots for some of the Cardinals' veteran players. I could easily see the Mets, depending on what other plans they have, looking at a guy like Wilson Contreras and thinking, a veteran guy, right-handed bat that can get in there behind Juan Soto and Francisco Lindor, not that expensive, allows them to do a bunch of other things. Because you look at their lineup, man, you got Lindor, Semien, and Soto set to be 1, 2, 3. And then it's Vientos, McNeil, Alvarez, Beatty, Mauricio, and Taylor. For a New York team, that's awful.
Not great.
They need a lot of that.
Great.
It wouldn't shock me if they're in on Tucker. Or Bellinger at this point, because they could use either one of those guys as a key outfielder who could slot into the top part of that lineup too. Just that's interesting, and this is kind of where we get to this question from Justin, which is, will the Cards make trade moves that heat up before Christmas or after? There's not been a lot of trades by the Central teams. I think it's going to pick up between now and Christmas. I don't know what you think, Matt, but for Justin's question, I think it will, in part because these guys are starting to come off the board, and a lot of teams would rather just pay money rather than give up players. But when the money part goes away in free agency, you turn to the trade part.
Yeah, it's not the Cardinals and it's not Chaim Bloom's fault that the trade activity just hasn't picked up. So he's going to sit there and he's going to wait and let things play out, and he's going to try to get the most that he can for his players. But I'm with you. I think as we get into Christmas and then really into January, that's when we're going to see the trade market actually have a little bit more significance to it.
Yeah, I saw somebody today on Twitter, and we'll wrap it up on this, mention that their understanding, and I'm forgetting who it was, but it was someone who's there covering the game. It wasn't Orlando, who said that they believe that it's about to catch fire. That, with these moves happening in the last few days, some teams now know what they do not have access to, and that could spur more action.
We'll see. I don't know. We had people saying that this is going to be one of the more active winter meetings
and it was
in recent history, and that didn't happen. Yeah. So people can say whatever they want, and if they get it right, they'll tell you they got it right, and if they got it wrong, they'll never remind you about it.
All right, more on the Cardinals fits on all of these things coming up after the news. It's Matt Pauley down in Orlando, Kevin Wheeler here in St. Louis. It's Rush Hour Sports on KMOX.
Hey guys, Glover here for my friends at Cantor Injury Law. So as you know, I'm a lawyer, haven't practiced in a long time, but I did plaintiff's work and defense work, so I have a pretty good understanding of it. I have a pretty good idea of who's who in the firmament of plaintiffs' attorneys. And for my money, Mark Cantor is the guy. He's a great attorney. He is a great practitioner. He's put together a great team. He was born and raised here. He lives here. He works here. He wins here. Call 314-628-ALL-9s or CantorInjuryLaw.com. The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based on advertising. If you're trying to sell a home, there's only one agent in town that I trust, Mark and Neil Gelman of eXp Realty. My friends Mark and Neil have the best system to connect you to the best qualified buyers, getting your home sold fast and for top dollar. 314-336-1991. Go to thegelmanteam.com.
At 5:30, cloudy skies and 35 downtown at the Gateway Arch. Good afternoon. I'm Scott Jagow. The news sponsored by Michael's Flooring Outlet, the flooring experts, michaelsflooringoutlet.com. Our top story, President Trump revealed during an event this afternoon the U.S. has seized an oil tanker near Venezuela.
As you probably know, we've just seized a tanker on the coast of Venezuela, large tanker, very large. Largest one ever seized, actually. And other things are happening, so you'll be seeing that later, and you'll be talking about that later with some other people.
The president says the U.S. does plan to keep the oil from the tanker. St. Louis police facing a new lawsuit for crashing into a gay bar and arresting the owner.
This is the second lawsuit filed against the St. Louis Metropolitan Police Department by the owners of Bar PM, with the first lawsuit focusing on James Pence, the owner who was detained but not criminally charged. This one is on behalf of Chad Morris, the one who was charged. Here's their attorney, Javad Kazali.
Now we are prepared to file his civil lawsuit, which is essentially the same as James's, except for it involves his full beating and his wrongful, bogus criminal charges.
Now, although there is a lot of crossover with these two civil cases, Kazali tells me he doesn't anticipate them happening simultaneously because Pence's is already set to go to trial in February. Sean Malone, KMOX News.
Sportscaster Joe Buck says he's humbled to receive the 50th annual Ford C. Frick Award. It's baseball's top broadcasting honor given out by the Hall of Fame. Buck's father Jack won it in 1987. They're the only father-son duo to receive the award. Joe says the best thing his father did for him was let him be in the room when he was young.
It might have been in his office when his voice got real deep, and I knew he was doing a radio interview, most likely with KMOX in St. Louis, or that room was in the booth with the Cardinals, or that room was in the booth with Hank Stram on Monday Night Football, or whatever it was. I was around it, and he wanted me there.
At 56, Joe's the second youngest Frick Award winner. Vince Scully was 54 in 1982. He'll receive the honor next July during Hall of Fame weekend in Cooperstown, New York.
We've got plenty of clouds, some snow flurries here and there. 28 will do it for the overnight low, so not changing a heck of a lot from where we are right now. Thursday, mostly cloudy, a couple of snow flurries. It's a cold 35. Friday, partly sunny and 40. Very cold weather, the coldest so far this season for the weekend. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Dave Murray on 104.1 FM, KMOX.
Right now, it's 36 in St. Peter's and Florissant. We have cloudy skies and 35 downtown at the Arch. I'm Scott Jagow, KMOX News.
250 years ago, a promise was made to connect families and friends near and far. And during the holidays, that promise is more important than ever. That's why USPS is building a better network to meet your needs with timely deliveries, easy and affordable ways to ship, and everything you need to make your season full of holiday cheer. Our purpose is delivering your peace of mind, knowing your love will arrive, bringing joy to all. The United States Postal Service. Learn more at USPS.com/holidays.
Listen up, Missouri. If you haven't heard by now, FanDuel Sportsbook is rolling in the Show Me State, and they are kicking things off with an offer that is really tough to beat. Right now, new customers can bet $5 and get $300 in bonus bets, win or lose. So whether you're betting football or basketball or hockey or whatever it is, You can do it all on an app that is safe, secure, and super easy to use. Download the FanDuel app today or head to FanDuel.com/Missouri and join the excitement because it has been a lot of fun since it's been live and rolling in the state of Missouri. It is time to play your game with FanDuel. 21 and over and present in Missouri. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. First online real money wager only. $5 first deposit required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets that expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com.
Neil Forever performs Neil Diamond live in concert at the Factory in Chesterfield on Friday, January 9th.
It's fantastic.
Friday, January 9th, Neil Forever performing all the hits of Neil Diamond at the Factory.
He is a great performer.
He's amazing.
Sounds just like Neil.
Rock and roll, get on board. Tickets at Ticketmaster.com.
This is Congressman Bob Onder. 2025 was a turning point for America. House Republicans didn't just talk about the challenges facing our country, we delivered real solutions. I was proud to stand beside President Trump to deliver historic tax cuts, secure our border, and eliminate waste, fraud, and abuse in the government. This year, my office helped constituents by solving over 500 cases and returning to them nearly $1.8 million. I'm Congressman Bob Onder, and I wish you a very Merry Christmas and Happy New Year.
Paid for by official funds authorized by the House of Representatives.
What's up, Missouri? Tony Gonzalez here. Your moment is finally here because DraftKings Sportsbook is live in Missouri. You can get in on all the action with fast withdrawals, a safe and secure app, and betting that's easy to use anywhere you go. And the best part, DraftKings keeps the excitement going with awesome promos and offers all season long. That's why it's America's top-rated sportsbook app. Don't wait. New customers sign up today. Bet just $5 and get $300 in bonus bets instantly. Let's go, Missouri. Get in the game.
Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code KMOX. New Missouri customers bet $5 and get $300 in bonus bets instantly. That's code KMOX. In partnership with DraftKings Sportsbook. The crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. 21 and over. Physically present in Missouri. Eligibility and restrictions apply. Terms at DraftKings.com/sportsbook. Bonus bets expire 7 days after issuance. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see sportsbook.draftkings.com/promos.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. No, we're not one of the big guys. Truth is, we don't want to be. If you're over 50, Big Wireless probably has you paying for more data than you might need. You could be throwing away thousands over a lifetime.
Our entry-level data plans start at just $20 a month. And for a limited time, switch and get your second month free. Call 1-888-FREEDOM, visit consumercellular.com or a store near you and get your second month free today. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. See site for additional details.
Hey, I'm Mike Slater. My dad passed away at the age of 63. It's out of nowhere. Had a stroke. Super hard, obviously, for the whole family, but my dad had life insurance. This is why I have life insurance for my family, for my wife and 4 kids. And the best place to get life insurance is ethos.com because you can do it in 10 minutes. And there's no medical exam and no blood test, just a few health questions. Get life insurance in 10 minutes so your family is protected. Ethos, ETHOS, ethos.com/life.
This is Rush Hour Sports on 104.1 FM KMOX.
All right, it's Rush Hour Sports on KMOX. Matt Pauley, Kevin Wheeler with you here. Matt, one more night down in Florida and then heading back here tomorrow. So tomorrow's a travel day. You'll be off tomorrow and off Friday, right?
That is, we have Countdown to Opening Day show coming up tomorrow night.
Oh, that's right. Okay. So
it won't be. So it won't be on Rush Hour Sports, but Mike Claiborne and myself, put together everything here in Orlando, and folks will be able to hear that coming up tomorrow.
Anything you want to tease on that?
I haven't put it together yet, so that's
I gotcha.
That's
what
we
tomorrow's
got
for.
a lot of stuff. Yeah, well, that's what late tonight's going to be. But we got a lot of stuff for the show, and you're not just going to hear it tomorrow. You're going to hear other stuff played back in future weeks. So we'll see how everything times out.
So you guys got busy
I
down
do know
there is what you're
Oliver
saying.
Marmol and Heim, a lot of stuff. Ollie and Heim will both be on the show, and then we'll see what else we get beyond that.
All right, so from your view, and from whatever conversations you've had with people down there, whether they're like solid or just guys talking, do you think any of the recent movement is opening pathways for the Cardinals to move forward. In other words,
yeah, I think
to a degree, yes, right? Because everything's like a domino effect. If a few things start to go, other things will fall into place, and then people start to get their priorities lined up.
Yeah, I think what we talked about earlier, like the Alonso thing opens up a scenario for Wilson Contreras, and there's going to be other things that happen. Like I think we're going to be waiting a really, really long time on Nolan Arenado because I just don't think the third base market is going to move at a speed with the guys that are out there. I don't know. Let me kind of throw this back at you, Kevin. I think the Wilson Contreras market is impacted by other markets. I think because Brendan Donovan is like a top of the market guy, I don't think he is as much impacted by other markets and other second basemen and other players, whatever position you want to put him at. So with him, I actually don't think it's impacted that much.
No, I would say the same. I mean, because the people that are in the market for Schwarber and Alonso aren't looking for a Brendan Donovan. Right? I mean, they're looking
not.
for power.
So,
they're looking for somebody that's going to hit 20, 25, 30 home runs and drive in runs. They're not looking for the table setter. Now, they could be looking at that in a separate way, right? Like there have been some rumors about both New York teams having some interest in Donovan in various forms. And it would make some sense, depending on other moves that the Mets make, for them to maybe take a look at that. But I wouldn't think losing Pete changes that for them.
I wouldn't think so either.
Yeah, and when you look at some of the other kind of possibilities for the Cardinals, I'm looking at, like, for example, yesterday, Gregory Soto came off the market, and the left-handed relief market is pretty thin. And, I guess there's still Tyler Rogers out there, who's an interesting guy. Or is it Taylor? Which one's the lefty? I can't remember. One of them's a lefty and one's a righty. But there's still some other lefties out there, but I really wonder if Romero ends up becoming one of their most popular targets because his age, the fact that he's only a 1-year commitment and he's been pretty good, and he's less of a commitment and less of a risk than signing a Gregory Soto or somebody like that for more money and possibly more years.
Yeah, I absolutely think that JoJo Romero is somebody that is going to get moved, that you're going to get a good return for, and that he continues to be one of the more popular players that Chaim Bloom is taking calls on.
All right, stick tight. We're going to be coming right back to the baseball conversation. Before that, though, let's get one more update. Actually, we got two more, but this is our second to last update with Captain Roger Brand. We'll tell you how the roads look here and around the St. Louis area.
Traffic from the MichaelsFlooringOutlet.com Traffic Center.
Well, we're jammed both directions on 170, Kevin. At Olive, southbound it goes down to 64. Northbound it goes up to about Midland. It was due to a crash northbound, the side anyway, at Natural Bridge. Eastbound 70, Natural Bridge to Hanley's backed up because of a recent crash. Westbound 64, Boyle out to McCausland's bumper to bumper. Lindbergh to 270, slow. Actually, both directions on that stretch of 64. And then from 94 midway to Winghaven, and then just west of Lake St. Louis Boulevard, a little busy. Westbound 70, heavy stuff at the city limits. There's slow stuff across the Blanchette Bridge. T.R. Hughes, most of the way to Bryan Road. Northbound 61, the Wentzville Parkway up to almost Highway P. It looks like we have an incident there, so it's backed up. Southbound 270, pockets south of 364 through Manchester, but it remains slow all the way down through 44. Jams approaching Gravois through Tesson Ferry. They cleared a crash to the right shoulder there. Southbound 55, south of Arsenal to Bates is still heavy. I'm Roger Brand at the MichaelsFlooringOutlet.com Traffic Center.
This report is sponsored by McKelvey Homes.
Hi, I'm Jim Brennan at McKelvey Homes. Have you always wished for a brand new home in an established neighborhood? Select one of our move-in ready custom homes throughout St. Louis, or we will build on your lot. Visit McKelveyHomes.com and move up to McKelvey.
All right, let's continue on with the baseball talk. Matt Pauley, Kevin Wheeler with you here on Rush Hour Sports. And again, feel free to chime in as well on the stream, whether it's Facebook, YouTube, Twitter. You're welcome to do that anytime we're talking ball. Actually, we're talking about anything. I think, Matt, and I'm going to be really curious to see. We talked about this earlier on DGS, and I know we've mentioned it a few times here on and off, with one of the priorities for the offseason being seeking some starting pitching help, whether that comes in the form of a return in a trade like Richard Fitz, or that comes in the form of signing a free agent. I think we both seem to agree that the free agent signing seems more like a later in the winter kind of thing, when maybe some guys are still sitting out there that didn't know that they weren't going to have multi-year offers. Or the trade opportunity, obviously, is a thing that could be a part of it, too. But they absolutely need another arm, and they need another arm that they can rely on. Nothing against, like, the talent of Liberatore and McGreevy and all that, and Leahy. But, man, you got a lot of guys there. You have no idea how much work they can shoulder. None. I mean, it's not easy to figure out. I guess McGreevy, we could feel pretty good about it because he's done it in the minors. But, boy, you don't have very much certainty in terms of innings there.
So I think you're probably right that this thing is going to take a little while before they bring in a starting pitcher via free agency. But I also think that if they've got a guy or two in mind and all of a sudden they start coming off the board, they're going to make a move. Heim was asked very directly yesterday, 2 days ago, whenever he talked about this. I can't remember. It all runs together here at the winter meetings. But he said he was asked very directly, do you have to wait for basically roster subtractions before you can make roster additions?
Yeah.
And from a technical standpoint, they actually do right now because their 40-man roster is full at 40. But outside of that, they are they don't feel like they need to wait. That if an opportunity presents itself now, they're willing to go after it, especially when it comes to pitching. So again, you're probably right. It's probably going to take a little while for a move to get made, but I'm sure they've got a handful of guys that are in the back of the mind that they would like to bring in as veteran starting pitchers. And if those guys start going off the board, they may have to make a move because even a Michael McGreevy, like with all due respect to him taking the ball every fifth day as a minor leaguer, it's different. It's different taking the ball every fifth day as a big leaguer. And there's nobody Matthew Liberatore is the closest guy on the roster who's done it for an entire season, and you had to totally take your foot off the pedal this past year and kind of pump the brakes on him to help just nurse him along to the end of the year. And there's nothing wrong with that. Like it was the right decision to be made. I would have liked for them to maybe find a start to skip or something earlier in the year. But you don't have that guy yet who's gone wire to wire, pole to pole, been able to post, whatever baseball cliche you want to use. You don't have that in the starting rotation right now.
No, I mean, I don't know how well it goes for McGreevy, but I know this. He threw 170 innings last year, and he threw 150 the year before that. So the number of pitches that he can throw is in the range you need it to be a full-time starter. Now, the question we have is just how does the performance hold up? When it comes to, but even if we count him as a certainty, we still don't know. Can you count on Liberatore for 170? Or is it just, is it 160? Is it 180? I mean, I think that having those questions and not knowing that Palante is going to earn a job because he wasn't good enough last year, and Leahy will certainly have to be managed this year in his innings. Garland threw it out there. He's not going to go 180. I mean, he's probably not going to go 150. Yeah, I would bet that he's more in the 130 range if you're talking about, and that's a pretty aggressive workload increase. So the thing about waiting to me, Matt, was not about whether the Cardinals want to wait. I think a lot of the most attractive guys might have to be turned down by better teams before they're an option for you.
Yeah, especially older guys who want to go win at a high level. If you're a veteran guy, if you're a veteran guy, you want to win a World Series. You want to play in the postseason, and the Cardinals right now do not present the best opportunity for that happening.
No, not at this point. All right, we got a couple other questions that we're going to get to coming up. Short timeout. We got one more segment. Matt's your last segment before, last segment on Rush Hour before you head home.
Yeah, still got Sports Open Line tonight.
Still got Sports Open Line coming up. All right, we'll come back and wrap this show up and get you ready for Sports Open Line next year on KMOX.
Are you like everybody else in the world who has no idea what to get everyone for the holidays? Well, you're in luck. We got you. Hands-free Skechers slip-ins. Because with hands-free Skechers slip-ins, you just step into them and they're on. There's no bending down, no touching, no fuss. Plus, Skechers slip-ins come in everyone's favorite styles and colors. And you can get slip-ins everywhere stylish footwear is sold, including a Skechers store. Or if you're too busy to shop in person, just get them online at Skechers.com, Amazon, and more.
CVS Health supports people in the moments that matter, from picking up a prescription to connecting care. With nearly 5 million daily interactions and serving 185 million consumers and 1.5 million healthcare professionals, CVS Health holds a trusted place in healthcare. By simplifying care and improving health, we're helping people get the care they need. Learn more at cvshealth.com/investor day.
Bernie Miklas here for Saliga Heating and Cooling. Our family's called the Saliga family for 18 years, and we are grateful for Saliga's honesty, knowledge, and professionalism. They're the best. For more info, visit SaligaHeatingandCooling.com.
Want to build income without a second job? Learn how real estate investing can help you create extra income one step at a time with Lifestyles Unlimited. Text radio to 88007. That's RADIO to 88007. Presented by Lifestyles Unlimited.
At Cardinal Glennon Children's Hospital, every moment with our patients is a gift. This holiday season, you can be the reason children have hope as they fight serious illness and reach milestones once thought impossible. Your gift provides life-saving care to those who need it most. Please donate today at treeofhope.org and be the reason a child has hope for tomorrow.
Traffic from the MichaelsFlooringOutlet.com Traffic Center.
Well, if you're heading south on 270, you still have slow traffic right around Olive. It's pockets from 64 down to Manchester, but it remains busy down to 44, and then it jams 44 down to Tesson Ferry. That crash looks like they're still getting out of the right lane just south of Tesson Ferry on South 270. North 270, Manchester up to Olive, busy. South 170, slow at Delmar. North 170 from the Rock Road up to Airport Road now is heavy due to earlier problems. Westbound 64, Kings Highway out to Big Bend's backed up. It's a little slow, Spady to Ballas. Heavy from K most of the way to Wing Haven, and then a little busy around Lake St. Louis Boulevard. Westbound 70 is to slow down at the city limits. Eastbound 70, Natural Bridge to Hanley, still backed up where we had that earlier crash. And westbound slow both sides of K and at 61. Southbound 55, a little busy right around Gasconade and Bates. I'm Roger Brand at the MichaelsFlooringOutlet.com Traffic Center.
Rush Hour Sports continues on 104.1 FM, KMOX.
All right, a few minutes left. Matt Pauley, Kevin Wheeler with you here. What's coming up on Sports Open Line, brother?
Yeah, we have a packed show tonight, jam-packed. Bernie Miklas is going to join us at about 6:20. Baseball insider Robert Murray at 6:35. Former Major League outfielder Brett Phillips at 6:50.
Oh, he's
we'll
fun.
hear what Chaim Bloom had to Oh, he's the best. He's the best. You're going to love it. I've already recorded the interview with him. People are going to love it. He talks a lot about winning the Stan Musial Award and what that night meant for him in St. Louis. It's great. Chaim Bloom's audio cuts from Chaim Bloom. A guy by the name of Kemp Golden, he runs a foundation called Because Baseball. They take the game of baseball to Cairo, Egypt, and like Brian Jordan's one of the guys who's gone there and done stuff and things. Padres pre and post host Sam Levitt's going to join us, and Mike Claiborne's going to join us. It is a winter meetings edition.
It is
Sports
a
Open Line.
bonanza of sports coming up from 6 till 8 tonight. All right, we got a couple questions on the line I wanted to throw at you before we get out of there. We had one of them is David, a guy that we've brought up before. Dustin May says, I really like Dustin May. What are your thoughts on that possibly happening? We both love it. I think that is the kind of guy that would be ideal. He's 28. There is upside. There's tradability. There's a lot of different things to like about that, assuming that he is interested in coming here.
And you've said before, Kevin, that you feel like he would be interested in here. You've heard some things.
Yeah. They're not my things. I didn't report them, but they were conversations that I have been a part of, yes.
Okay. All right. Well, you know more than me on that one.
Yeah, I mean, again, not that it's
a general common statement.
Not that it's a, like, dudes knocking down the door to come, just that could be a thing. Because as we've talked about, and I talked about it, we talk about this a lot with Derek Gould, and I think we talked about it, the three of us did on Monday, that, the Cardinals have an opportunity here that some of these guys want, and that is the chance to start every fifth day. And not, sometimes if you're a Dustin May, for example, and you're going to sign with a contender, well, if you're struggling a little bit, they're going to take you out of the rotation. Versus signing here can give you the 4, 5, 6 months to kind of get right. Because he got bumped from the rotation last year, didn't make the postseason roster, if I remember correctly. In fact, he got traded. And then also didn't end up playing, right?
Yeah, that's correct.
Yeah, I mean, so he was having that same problem because Boston bumped him from the rotation last year, and I don't remember what time of the year. It was somewhat later in the year, but he also had physical problems. But the example is, like, if you're a team that's not trying to win the World Series, You're trying to win, but like where you are. You're being realistic. You can give that guy more starts. I mean, for God's sake, look how many starts they gave Miles and Fetty last year.
Yeah, and the roster has less. The roster and the rotation has less depth now than it did with Michaelis and Fetty in there. So, if they bring in somebody like that, they're going to be given every opportunity to pitch every fifth day for an extended amount of time.
Yeah, that's one of the benefits that they do have is where a contender can sell, let's say, a Walker Buehler, come on in and be our fifth starter or fourth starter or whatever, and he's 31, he's not 28. Although I still like the idea of talking to him too, depending on what his circumstances. You can't have all of these guys, but I mean, he would be. I think the upside play is a big deal. Guys that can help you with innings for sure, but guys that if Buehler or May, if those guys have a big year, they're very tradable because they both have playoff experience and they both have stuff.
And maybe you can even sign them with some sort of club option with like the cheap $1 million buyout. So if you end up trading them, you control connected to them.
Yeah. All right. One last question. This is a loaded question, Matt. I won't be. Neither of us is going to be pinned down by this. This is just a spitball. But Nick says, what's your way too early prediction for the record for the Cards next year? And again, knowing that we're not going to be held to this.
78 wins is probably the number I'm looking at right now. That would be.
What'd you say again?
My guess. 78 wins would be where I'm at right now.
I would put it in the range that they were last year. I wouldn't pin it down to a number, but I would say probably not much better. Like if you're talking good year, probably not much better than low 80s. Like that would be a higher end, and I would say probably mid 70s as your low end. I don't think they're going to be good, but I don't think they're going to totally suck either.
No, but I think their absolute ceiling is in the mid 80s. Like that's who they are.
I mean, it could be, if JJ's really good and, you get some positive answers from Victor Scott and Jordan Walker. I can conceive of it. All right, buddy. Sports Open Lines after the news. Have a good night. Safe travels, and we'll talk to you here in the next couple of days.
All right, sounds good.
You got it. Matt Pauley's got Sports Open Line for you right after the news here on KMOX.
A KFC tale in the pursuit of flavor. The holidays were tricky for the Colonel. He loved people, but he also loved peace and quiet. So he cooked up KFC's $4.99 chicken pot pie. Warm, flaky, with savory sauce and vegetables. It's a tender chicken-filled excuse to get some time to yourself and step away from decking the halls. Whatever that means. The Colonel lived so we could chicken. KFC's Chicken Pot Pie. The best $4.99 you'll spend this season.
Prices and participation may vary while supplies last. Taxes, tips, and fees extra.
Selling your home, it's one of the biggest financial decisions you'll ever make. You could go it alone, trying to navigate market trends, determine fair pricing, and tackle tricky negotiations on your own. You could second-guess every decision, wondering if you're doing it right. Then there's the showings, the offers, and the mountain of paperwork. Or you could work with the expertise of a Realtor, here to guide and help protect as you make your next big move. Realtors are members of the National Association of Realtors. Right by you.
Actual price will depend on product and subscription plan. Featured products are compounded drug products, which the FDA does not approve or verify for safety, effectiveness, or quality. Prescription products require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. See website for details, restrictions, and important safety information.
Want a boost in and out of the bedroom? Hims has you covered. Introducing a new 2-in-1 approach to level up your game. Tadalafil for better bedroom performance and zinc for testosterone support. Put it all together and you've got what you need to turn things all the way up. Getting started is simple. Just go to hims.com/joy to start your free online visit. Through Hims, you can access ED treatments including pills, chews, and more. 100% online. No office visits, no pharmacy lines. Just fill out a simple intake form and a licensed medical provider will determine if treatment's right for you. If prescribed, it ships free and discreetly to your door. Find affordable treatment options at up to 95.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy, HIMS.com/JOY.
Did you know that nearly half of all home fires occur during winter months? To help protect your home, Quiver River Electric Cooperative encourages you to identify and correct potential electrical hazards. Switches and outlets that are warm to the touch may signal unsafe wiring. Repair or replace damaged electric cords to help prevent electric shock. Recurring trip circuit breakers may indicate exceeding a safe level of electric current. For more safety tips, visit quiver.com or call us at 1-800-392-3709.
Life is better together. At Fairwinds River's Edge, dynamic activity calendars, excellent meal options, and an abundance of services come together to create a strong sense of community where meaningful connections are cultivated. Here, you can trust that there will always be something fun and social to do. It's not just a place to live, it's a place to belong. To see what's happening this month, visit us on Facebook or online, fairwindsriversedge.com.
Traffic from the michaelsflooringoutlet.com traffic center.
Well, it's still pretty busy on the southbound 270. It's not jammed, but it is slow south 270 from Olive all the way down to Tesson Ferry due to numerous earlier problems. The most recent one was a crash on the shoulder just past Tesson Ferry. Southbound 170, slow the Parkway to 64. Eastbound 64 is heavy east of Lindbergh all the way into Big Bend. Westbound 64 from just west of the Science Center out to Big Bend is slow. There's a slowdown from K midway out to Wing Haven. At a couple of spots, it's a little busy. Lake St. Louis Boulevard out to 70. Northbound 170, Natural Bridge up to Airport Road is backed up due to an earlier incident. I'm Roger Brand in the michaelsflooringoutlet.com traffic center.
News, talk, cards. KMOX AM St. Louis, KMOX FM Hazelwood, free Odyssey app.
U.S. seizes an oil tanker off Venezuela's coast.
Largest one ever seized, actually.
Key Fed rate cut.
This makes borrowing money just a little bit cheaper.
Federal judge rules the Trump administration
must stop deploying the California National Guard in Los Angeles.
This is the CBS World News Roundup Late Edition. I'm Jennifer Kuiper. More details are coming out following President Trump's brief statement that the U.S. seized an oil tanker off the coast of Venezuela. CBS's Linda Kenyon has the latest.
It was a brief statement from the president.
As you probably know, we've just seized a tanker on the coast of Venezuela, a large tanker, very large.
The tanker, named the Skipper, had just left port in Venezuela when it was seized. Attorney General Pam Bondi stated the FBI, Homeland Security Investigations, the U.S. Coast Guard, and the Pentagon executed a warrant for the tanker that she said was transporting sanctioned oil from Venezuela and Iran. The operation also comes amid U.S. military strikes against alleged drug smuggling boats near Venezuela. Linda Kenyon, CBS News, Washington.
Venezuela's president is demanding an end to U.S. intervention in his country. The Federal Reserve reduces its key interest rate for the third time in a row, but signals that it may leave rates unchanged in the coming months. CBS's Kelly O'Grady on how the quarter percentage point cut could affect borrowers.
When you think about the things that are impacted by interest rates, if you're a consumer, you might see your credit card interest rate go down a little bit. Again, it's not going to be that helpful if you're looking at an interest rate over 20%. But this may also flow through to things like your 30-year fixed mortgage, your auto loan rates.
On Wall Street, the Dow shot up 497 points. The Nasdaq jumped 78. S&P 500 rose 46 points. In the U.S. House,
on this vote, the yeas are 312, the nays are 112. The bill is passed without objection. A motion to reconsider is laid on the table.
Passed is a sweeping defense policy bill that authorizes $900 billion in military programs. It includes a pay raise for troops and an overhaul of how the Department of Defense buys weapons. A federal judge in San Francisco rules that the Trump administration must stop deploying the California National Guard in L.A. and return control of the troops to the state. But the judge has put the decision on hold until Monday. The National Weather Service expands flood watches across Washington and Oregon as a prolonged atmospheric river pushes rivers to record levels. Some Puyallup, Washington residents were urged to evacuate. Volunteer Brandon Hunt.
We got yards being flooded now, farmlands that are getting impacted by this flood here this year.
A third judge rules that grand jury transcripts from Jeffrey Epstein's sex trafficking case can be made public. Now this.
Sponsored by Progressive. See why over 43 million drivers trust Progressive to stay protected on the road. See for yourself at Progressive.com.
At 6:03, it's cloudy and 34 degrees downtown at the Gateway Arch. Good evening, I'm Scott Jagow. Our top story this hour, a group called People Not Politicians has gathered more than 300,000 signatures. This is to try to let Missouri voters overturn the state's new congressional voting districts. Now that the signatures are submitted, the group says the redistricting law must be paused until voters decide. But Secretary of State Denny Hoskins says he disagrees.
The Attorney General's office just came out with an opinion that says that
The referendum does not go into effect until the signatures have been certified by the Secretary of State's office.
Hoskins says once the election authorities validate the signatures, he decides whether to clarify or certify them, which he says does not have a deadline. The St. Louis Board of Aldermen are planning to ask voters if they can use funds for the Metrolink light rail expansion to add bus lines instead. So do they need permission?
That question was raised to Aldermanic President Megan Green during the committee meeting. She says they wish to ask voters either way as a show of good faith.
Just because there is perhaps a legal case that could be made that we don't need to go back to voters, I don't think that means that we should.
In contrast from the original bill, which restricted the city to spend this money on a train line, the new bill keeps the city's options open for a train line instead of a bus line if the political landscape changes. Green held this bill in committee with no vote at this time. Sean Malone, KMOX News.
People are still moving out of Illinois more than they're moving in.
The annual migration pattern study released this week by the moving company Atlas Van Line says this year, 54% of residents who relocated moved out of Illinois, while 46% moved in. Atlas says that is statistically even, and it's much better than in 2023, when people who left the state made up 63% of relocations involving Illinois.
We've got plenty of clouds, some snow flurries here and there. 28 will do it for the overnight low, so not changing a heck of a lot from where we are right now. Thursday, mostly cloudy, a couple of snow flurries. It's a cold 35. Friday, partly sunny and 40. Very cold weather, the coldest so far this season for the weekend. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Dave Murray on 104.1 FM, KMOX.
Right now, 35 degrees in St. Peter's and Florissant. We have 34 downtown at the Arch. I'm Scott Jagow, KMOX News.
Traffic from the MichaelsFlooringOutlet.com Traffic Center.
We'll wrap it up with some traffic out there. Obviously, it's better than it was earlier, but it's still pretty slow. South 270 is just sort of bogged down. I guess we'll call it Ladue, all the way down to Tesson Ferry, past Tesson Ferry. That's where the most recent crash was, over on the right shoulder. Northbound 270 from 64 most of the way up to Olive is busy. South 170 bogs down between Ladue and the Parkway to 64. North 170 is getting better, but it's still slow. 70 up to Airport Road. Eastbound 64, midway between Lindbergh and McKnight to Big Bend. Almost to Bellevue, really, or McCausland is heavy. Westbound 64, Hampton through Big Bend is slow. There's still a slowdown midway out from K to Winghaven briefly. After that, it's okay. Westbound 70, a little backup just past K. Looks like there may be an incident there. It's a little slow at 61. Other than that, the rest of these interstates are pretty much back on track for you. I'm Roger Brand in the MichaelsFlooringOutlet.com Traffic Center.
This report is sponsored by Overhead Door Company of St. Louis.
Overhead Door Company of St. Louis is hiring residential garage door technicians and installers. Apply today, get a call today. Hiring bonus up to $4,000. Benefits include health, dental, vision, and pension. Apply today at overheaddoorsstlouis.com.
Come on, let's get going now.
From KMOX Sports.
We're primed and ready. All day, baby. Man, let's go.
This is the Gray Bar Sports Open Line. Gray Bar, your distributor for electrical and datacom needs. On 104.1 FM, KMOX.
On a Wednesday night, we come your way, continuing to broadcast the show from Orlando, Florida, and the winter meetings. It is a Gray Bar Sports Open Line right here on KMOX. My name is Matt Pauley. Great to be with you. We have just an absolutely jam-packed show tonight. So many folks are going to be joining us. It is Wednesday, so we'll have our weekly conversation with Bernie Miklas in about a little bit more than 10 minutes. And then later on in the hour, Robert Murray, Baseball Insider with Fansided and the Baseball Insiders podcast will join us. Former Major League outfielder Brett Phillips is going to join us for what I would really, really encourage you to stick around for that conversation later on this hour. I think you're going to really enjoy it. He's a special guy, and he's a lot of fun to talk to. Next hour, we'll hear a little bit from Chaim Bloom. He did meet with the media for one final time today, spoke with us kind of quickly after the Rule 5 draft today, so we'll play back some of what he had to say. We're going to talk with somebody who we talk to every year at the baseball winter meetings because I love his organization and love being able to help tell his story. Kemp Golden's going to join us. He runs the Because Baseball group, and they're a bunch of people who take baseball baseball to Egypt and do youth camps and things like that at a place where baseball doesn't really exist, and they work with major league teams and take former big leaguers. It's a really cool organization. We're going to learn a little bit more about that. Padres pre- and post-game host Sam Levitt's going to join us, and also Mike Claiborne here in Orlando will join us for a little while as well. So that is what's coming up on the program today. As mentioned, it is a very, very busy show. Here's the bottom line of what happened over the last 3 days. Not much. And I know that's disappointing for a lot of Cardinal fans because the winter meetings were built up as one that could be very active for the Cardinals. Unfortunately for them, the market just never really followed along. I'll say this over and over because I've seen people be very critical of the Cardinals for not making trades during this winter meetings. I think that would have been a legit criticism of the club if moves were being made across baseball. They're not. The trade market just simply has not opened up yet. And you don't want to – if you're Chaim Bloom and you want to force a trade just to make a trade, you're going to be selling low. And if that's what you want the Cardinals to do, I got nothing for you. I don't want them to sell low. I want them to get as much back as they possibly can. And the market's just not ready for that. And it's disappointing because everybody was here. Now, there were some things that happened. Kyle Schwarber signed. Edwin Diaz signed. Pete Alonso signed. Kyle Finnegan signed. Steven Matz signed. So, I mean, there were some moves that were made, but there weren't trades. And I personally think it's unfair to be critical of the Cardinals for not making trades when nobody was making trades. If they end up not making trades, period, like if this ends up being just a really quiet offseason and they don't move anybody or very few people and the roster looks very much the same and they don't have the talent acquisition that we think that they're going to have, and when we get to spring training, at that point I can be critical of the club. But I'm not going to be critical that they didn't pull off a trade on December 10th. I'm just not. It's not. There's no reason to be critical of the club in that situation. Today was the Rule 5 draft, so the most action that you were going to get was what happened with the Rule 5 draft. Cardinals did pick up right-hand pitcher Matthew Pushard. He comes from the Miami Marlins organization. So because he was selected in the Rule 5 draft, he is immediately on the 40-man roster, and then he has to stay on the 26-man roster the entire season. If they want to remove him from the 26-man roster, they would have to offer him back to the Marlins. But he offers some pitching depth in the bullpen, and I think there's a pretty good chance that he ends up spending the entire season with the Cardinals. They're really looking for guys who can cover multiple innings, and he is someone who can do that. The Cardinals did lose someone today, and I know a lot of people are bummed out about this. Right-hand pitcher Cade Winquist was selected by the New York Yankees. I think it's going to be interesting to watch how this plays out because it's a lot easier to go be a Rule 5 pick for the St. Louis Cardinals as a pitcher where maybe the expectations are not quite as high. If you're a Rule 5 pick of the New York Yankees, you're going to have to go out there and you're going to have to perform. So we'll see whether or not that plays out or if there's a possibility that Winquist ends up getting offered back to the Cardinals. And based off some comments that Randy Flores made today, I think that if he were offered back to the Cardinals, they absolutely would accept him. There were some other players. The Cardinals also selected a player in the minor league portion of the Rule 5 draft and a pitcher by the name of Ryan Murphy. He comes over from the San Francisco Giants. But that was that's the news. That's the action. Unfortunately, the big action of the day is coming from the Rule 5 draft. I say unfortunately in the sense that we don't have more to talk about impacting the Major League roster. I thought the Cardinals would make a Rule 5 selection. They did make the Rule 5 selection. It was my first time actually going and being in the room as the Rule 5 draft was going on. It always takes place at the baseball winter meetings. I don't know why I haven't gone previously, but this year I did go, and it was enjoyable. And then after it got done, Randy Flores spoke with us for a little while. Then Chaim Bloom spoke with us for a little while, and then each of those guys were on the same flight to get back to St. Louis. So they have already arrived back to St. Louis, and they even when Bloom was talking, about trades and things like that, he said the day's not over. So it just because the winter meetings are over doesn't mean the conversations stop. And I'm starting to get the sense that the winter meetings don't really push things forward as much as maybe we had spoken like they did previously. They just don't. And, they were joking about the fact of hoping that they would have the Wi-Fi on the plane just in case a text message happened to come in that might push something over the edge. So that group is still working. The day is still going just because they happen to be back in St. Louis and not in Orlando anymore. Doesn't change anything in terms of them being able to go out and continue to work deals. And all we can do is sit back and wait, and hopefully we have something to talk about sooner than later. Again, coming up on the program this hour, we've got so much. It's a fun show today. We are going to be joined by Bernie Miklasz in about 5 minutes. Later on this hour, Robert Murray is going to join us, baseball insider, and then former big league outfielder Brett Phillips. You're going to love this conversation. It's going to be coming up in just a little while as well. Up next, Bernie Miklasz is with us. You are locked into a Gray Bar Sports Open Line. We are live at baseball's winter meetings in Orlando. More in a moment right here on KMOX.
Overhead Door Company of St. Louis, the genuine, the original, present years of KMOX.
It's over!
There when St. Louis celebrated.
And the St. Louis Blues are the Stanley Cup champions for the first time in franchise history!
A former captain, Bernie, you've always wanted the Stanley Cup in the city of St. Louis, but now that it's here, what can you say about the group of guys that did it?
Oh my God, this was the ultimate team. Going to go down as one of the greatest stories, maybe, of all time in the NHL.
Petro, how does it feel knowing that your name's going to forever be on this?
Wow. It's crazy to think about. I think it's all starting to sink in right now as I'm walking down right now the street. It's pretty amazing.
This is only going to be one of many Stanley Cups that we win here because we bleed blue.
There for every headline, every heartbreak, every heartbeat. KMOX, the voice of St. Louis.
Hey, Missouri, if you haven't heard by now, FanDuel Sportsbook is live here in the Show Me State, and they're kicking things off with an offer that is really tough to beat. So right now, new customers can bet $5 and then get $300 in bonus bets. Whether you win or lose that initial $5 bet, you get those $300 bonus bets either direction. And it doesn't matter what you're choosing. Whether it's football, basketball, hockey, you can bet it all on an app that is safe, secure, and super easy to use. I've been on it since the app launched years ago. I just couldn't play in Missouri until now. Now I get to, and you can do. So download FanDuel today or head to FanDuel.com/Missouri to join in on the excitement, because Missouri, it's time to play your game with FanDuel. Remember, 21 and older and present in Missouri. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. First online real money wager only. $5 first deposit is required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable bonus bet that expires 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com.
Give the best of Broadway right here in St. Louis. Muni season tickets are on sale now, just in time for the holidays. Our 2026 season includes Hairspray, Shrek the Musical, South Pacific, Disney's Newsies, Ain't Too Proud, The Life and Times of the Temptations, Meet Me in St. Louis, and Something Rotten. See all 7 shows starting at just $126. For tickets, visit muni.org.
You're listening to Leaf Filter Radio, and the guru of gutter protection himself, Chris Coonahan, is here to take your most pressing leaf-related questions.
Hey, everybody, Chris here. I understand we have Ron on the line. Ron, where are you calling from?
Uh-oh. Ron, are you calling from a ladder?
Well, I was. I wanted to ask Chris what I need to do to get my gutters ready to have Leaf Filter installed.
Oh, Ron, you don't have to do anything. A Leaf Filter Trusted Pro will come out and clean out your gutters, realign and seal your gutters, and install Leaf Filter, America's #1 gutter protection system.
So I didn't need to get on this ladder?
Ron, Leaf Filter Trusted Pros are in your neighborhood and ready to help. Just visit leaffilter.com/deal to schedule your free gutter inspection and get up to 30% off.
Thank goodness. What was that site?
To get this special radio offer, go to leaffilter.com/deal for your free gutter inspection today and get up to 30% off. That's leaffilter.com/deal for up to 30% off. leaffilter.com/deal. See representative for warranty details.
Glover here for my friends at Cantor Injury Law. Cantor is local, and we're here doing the work every day. We're right here in St. Louis, and we're ready to fight for you. CantorInjuryLaw.com or call 314-628-9999.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be solely based on advertisements. S&L Coin. We buy gold and silver coins, silver and gold jewelry. Also buying gold-filled and silver plates. Before you sell, call S&L. 314-544-3600. 314-544-3600. S&L Coin.
This is Coach Josh Schertz of your St. Louis Billikens. On behalf of the St. Louis community, thank you, KMOX, for 100 years of service. Here's the next 100.
It's Graybar Sports Open Line right here on KMOX, continuing to broadcast from Orlando and baseball's winter meetings. Let's just say things have slowed down just a bit. There's not very many people here anymore after things wrapped up earlier today with the Rule 5 draft. Happy to welcome on to the program right now. Of course, you hear him all over here on KMOX. You also see him and read him over at STL Sports Central. It's our good friend Bernie Miklas. Bernie, thanks for taking some time with us today. How are you?
It's always great to be with you, Matt. Everything's wonderful, and I'm just going to say this right now. Have a safe trip home.
Thank you. I appreciate it. We'll look forward to getting back to St. Louis here sooner than later. Before we get to the winter meetings, I just read your column a few moments ago over at STL Sports Central, and the big news of the day in St. Louis is Joe Buck being chosen for the Fort Frick Award. He's being inducted into the Broadcasters Wing of the Baseball Hall of Fame. So much to so many people in St. Louis. I was actually talking to Benjamin Hockman about this, and he quoted me in a column that ran over at STL Today about it. But it's just, I think everybody in St. Louis can be so happy today for a guy like Joe Buck, who is incredibly talented, so deserving of this honor, and has always represented St. Louis in the best possible way.
I have so much admiration for Joe. I've known him for a long time, since he was a teenager, as I mentioned in the column. But I have so much respect for him because let's go back to when he broke into broadcasting. I mean, I remember it well. You know, his the immortal Jack Buck basically walked out of the booth and told Joe, take over on the radio. And Joe was very young. And, you know, even though he had done a lot of reps on his own, I mean, he basically had no live broadcast experience, certainly not Major League Baseball. But, you know, Jack kind of put him in there. And, you know, it's like, hey, throw him in the pool and see if he can swim. And Joe proved to be an excellent swimmer. But at that time, Matt, I don't have to tell you this. I mean, people were just going nuts, and they were, you know, they're ripping Joe and said, oh, it must be nice to have a father who, you know, gives you a broadcast job and everything else. I always felt bad for Joe because I know how hard Joe was working on this. And I also knew that he was a really smart guy and he loved the game in St. Louis. But people were really cruel to him. And basically for the first few years of his career, it's like, well, this guy, man, you know, he got the free pass. He got the ticket. It's all because of his father. And, you know, maybe that was true in terms of the way Joe got the job. But like I said in my column, though, if you stink, if you're a failure, if you're no good, it's going to be an embarrassment to you and the family. And everyone's just going to say, just get out. You know, you had the opportunity of a lifetime and you weren't good enough for it, and just go away. I mean, people were incredibly cruel, but you know what? Can you imagine what it was like to you know, be Jack Buck's son? And, you know, you have to not only live up to the name, you not only have to live up to the opportunity that you got, but you have to, and you know, you have to live up to his career the best you can. And I can't even comprehend the possibility of any son of one of the all-time great broadcasters in baseball and even NFL history could have done a better job than Joe Buck. I mean, he is his father's son in every way, and his career is extraordinary. And they're both in 2 Hall of Fames now. The basically the Pro Football Hall of Fame, the highest award there for broadcasting, now in Cooperstown. Same thing. I don't know. The pressure that was on him and the stuff he had to listen to, and some of the early stumbles or whatever, I think a lot of people would have cracked. But he proved himself more than I think even friends like me at the time. We thought pretty good about his chances, but he exceeded that. I mean, it's really a great story, and he's a St. Louis institution like his father, and he's a broadcast legend like his father. And Joe would be the first one to tell me, tell you, tell us, no, I didn't match my father's career. But I'm telling you, it's pretty dang close. I don't know what else more he could have done. So I'm really happy for Joe.
Yeah,
Buck.
and he's still got he's still got a fair amount of time left in that career as well.
Yeah.
We could talk forever about Joe Buck, but before we get out of here, I do want to mention a lot of Cardinals fans are struggling with the fact that the Cardinals did not pull off a trade. I can repeat over and over and over, hey, it takes two to tango, and there just was zero trade market in Major League Baseball, and the last thing you want to do is force a trade because then you're probably not getting a good return. But there does seem to be some consternation from Cardinals fans right now that the roster basically looks the same now outside of a Rule 5 pick.
Oh, that's interesting. Here comes some sarcasm. I didn't realize that spring training opened this weekend. That's interesting. So the offseason's basically over, huh? Wow. They really changed that schedule.
Yes.
Yeah. This is ridiculous, and once again it proves there's too many Cardinals fans that don't even know what a rebuild is. When you're Chaim Bloom and you've got 4 or 5, maybe 6 players that you're taking offers on, what do you expect him to rush into these deals just to show that, oh, look at me, I made a trade? How stupid is that? Seriously, wouldn't you rather prefer that he gets every offer that he can get, try to squeeze more out of teams, take his time, be methodical, have many more conversations, put some pressure on teams, and get a better deal for some of these players? But no, we want Chaim Bloom to win the social media battle rather than the actual roster battle. Incredibly stupid. Sorry to be so mean.
No, I feel the same way. I've actually been really. I generally am pretty good at not getting frustrated, but I've been frustrated by the reaction lately because literally there's no difference between making a trade on December 10th and February 10th. I mean, he's got tons of time to get stuff done. And Bernie, if he doesn't get stuff done, we can loop back around and we can criticize at that point, and it would be valid. And also, nothing else is happening. If the trade market was going crazy right now and he was standing on the sideline, that'd be one thing, but trades simply are not happening right now in Major League Baseball.
No, it's free agent signings. And if all the reports are true, and I trust Derek Gould and some others, he might have, for example, a dozen teams interested in Brendan Donovan. Well, I know it's impossible, but put yourself in his position. Don't you want to take your time seeing what develops with all these teams coming for your guy? Don't you want to be fully prepared? Don't you want to vet every offer? Don't you want to get the advice of your team, talking about all the people that he's brought in? Like, why would anyone expect, like, when he's got a couple players, maybe more than a couple, that 10, 12, 15 teams want? Why would anyone of sound mind think that this would happen in like 36 hours or something? It makes no sense.
Yeah, and I thought maybe a deal would get done here at the winter meetings. It didn't happen. I'm not overly worried about it. Last thing for you, we've only got a couple minutes or so left, sure. Bernie, but you and I were texting about it a bit earlier today. The revelation from Chaim yesterday that essentially the Cardinals didn't have much of a curriculum for catchers in the minor leagues. And now not only are they trying to catch up right now with minor league catchers, but they're talking about running Ivan Herrera through that curriculum and running other big league guys through the curriculum. Like, what's your takeaway from that disclosure yesterday?
Well, I appreciate Chaim Bloom's candor, but I also thought, man, we knew this was bad. We knew that their failure to give prospects what they needed to be totally prepared for the big leagues. We knew that they were failing on that end. I would say that it's even worse than I imagined. And I think Chaim Bloom, he didn't want to disparage anybody or anything, but I think he wanted to let people know the depth of the kind of work that needs to be done, even for someone like Ivan Herrera, who's been in pro ball for a while, where he still basically has never been taught at an expert level how to catch. I mean, are you serious? I mean, and for every Ivan Herrera, now we know his story, how many other prospects were basically neglected instead of taught at a high level to prepare them for the big leagues? It's kind of startling, and it's also kind of sad.
I'm kind of surprised it hasn't been a bigger deal locally. Like it to me, my jaw just dropped as I was sitting in there and listening to him say that.
Yeah, and you know, he said some things I mentioned to you in our text, and I'm probably overly interpreting it. He said some things about Tink Hence, the pitching prospect, that caught my ear a little bit, because I don't ever recall. I know stories have been and reports have been made about, well, Tink Hence, he gets hurt a lot. He gets hurt a lot. But, and this isn't a knock on reporting. I'm just saying there was never any conversation about, okay, here's what they're going to do to try to prevent injuries, to try to get him stronger and healthier and more durable. Never heard that. All these injuries he's had, at no point did I ever hear of an organizational plan to help him stay healthy. And now Chaim Bloom revealed, they've got him on a training program, and they're going to do this, they're going to do that, they're going to do this. And I'm thinking, this kid probably never even got this kind of thing before. So and people want to know why the DeWitts were ready system and redo the whole player development system. I mean, are people starting to get it now? I mean,
I hope
absurd.
so.
It's absurd.
Yeah, I hope so for sure. Bernie, we always enjoy these conversations with you. And, of course, before we let you go, I would like to hear a little bit about our friends over at Saliga.
And by the way, I apologize for being a little nasty. One of those days. I guess I'm really grumpy today. Anyway, Saliga Heating and Cooling is a Daikin Comfort dealer. Has been taking care of St. Louis since 1927, taking care of our family for 18 years. And all I can tell you is this: they check every box. I mean, they've had a report card to be straight A's, and they have saved us so much money over the years with being honest when they come in to assess what's wrong with heating and cooling and a couple other things. They believe that they have to earn your trust and earn your business every time that they do business with you. So they talk you into stuff. They'll look for at least the less expensive solutions. They'll explain everything. They'll answer any question you have. They're really a pleasure to deal with, even at a time where you're kind of stressed out because you're not sure what kind of repair you're looking at. So I highly recommend them. And if you want to find out more, including about their maintenance club called the Priority Club, a maintenance plan will save you money and extend the life of your equipment, just go to SaligaHeatingandCooling.com. They're the best.
The Bernie Nicholas Report on KMOX is sponsored by Saliga Heating and Cooling, a Daikin Comfort dealer.
Don't get lulled into believing the IRS is getting soft. It's just the opposite. Hi, this is Lance Drury with the Lance Drury Law Firm. We are being told by IRS collection officers that their higher-ups are demanding that they get more aggressive than ever. So don't ignore them any longer. Level up. If you have unfiled returns, unpaid taxes, levies, or liens, call me, Lance Drury, today and let me get between you and the IRS. I'll protect your rights. At the Lance Drury Law Firm, our practice is focused 100% on fighting the IRS. Remember, IRS problems are legal problems, and they need to be handled by an expert attorney who's done it for decades. So call the Lance Drury Law Firm today. We're local. Our office is right here in St. Louis. Call 314-260-6120. Visit Lance, DRURYlaw.com to schedule your free consultation with your local tax resolution law firm.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
You know Gray Bar for electrical parts, but there's one more thing you may not be thinking of us for that can help maximize your next project's total value. Our pre-project planning services are designed to help you win the bid, save on labor costs, and keep your installers productive across your entire build. The sooner you call us, the better. Because when we're there from the beginning, we can anticipate your needs and help you solve problems before they become problems. Yep, Gray Bar does that.
This is Congressman Bob Onder. 2025 was a turning point for America. House Republicans didn't just talk about the challenges facing our country, we delivered real solutions. I was proud to stand beside President Trump to deliver historic tax cuts, secure our border, and eliminate waste, fraud, and abuse in the government. This year, my office helped constituents by solving over 500 cases and returning to them nearly $1.8 million. I'm Congressman Bob Onder, and I wish you a very Merry Christmas and Happy New Year.
Paid for by official funds authorized by the House of Representatives.
This is Ron Kraszewski, Chairman and CEO of Stifel. As the year comes to a close, I want to thank our clients, colleagues, and communities for your trust and support. We're especially proud of the Stifel U.S. ski team. Their drive, resilience, and pursuit of their goals this winter reminds us what's possible when we stay committed. From all of us at Stifel, we wish you and your family a joyful holiday season and a new year filled with health, happiness, and success. Stifel, where success meets success.
Hey, it's Debbie Monterey, and can you believe it's already the holiday season? While most people are thinking about lights and gift lists, a lot of homeowners are also wondering if now is the right time to sell or if they should wait until the new year. So I'm here with Gloria Liu from Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. Gloria, what should sellers be thinking about right now?
Great question. Even during the holidays, serious buyers are still out there, and with fewer homes on the market, sellers actually face less competition. When we get into the new year, listings start to spike and competition rises. But that's never a problem for my clients because I guarantee to sell your home at your price and time frame, or I will buy it myself. Whether you want to move now or after the holidays, we'll make it smooth and stress-free.
That's why Gloria Liu is the trusted choice for St. Louis home sellers. Call 314-325-6888 or visit GloriaHasTheBuyers.com. From all of us, happy holidays, and here's to your next move being your best one. Gloria and seller must agree on price and possession date.
Thank you, St. Louis, for making Genesis of St. Charles the #1 Genesis dealer in Missouri for 2025. We know your time is valuable. That's why every purchase comes with 3 years of complimentary Genesis service valet. Unlock your e-price and save. That means complimentary vehicle pickup and delivery, plus a loaner vehicle at no additional cost. Or want something new? We'll bring the test drive to you. Visit GenesisofSt.Charles.com during the Genesis Signature Event. Based on GMA sales records for 2024. See dealer for details.
Joe is excited to partner with Hardee's and Operation Food Search for their holiday food drive. Dave and the crew will be out at Hardee's in St. Peter's on Friday, December 19th, starting at 1 p.m. All donations benefit Operation Food Search to help children and families facing food insecurities. The Dave Glover Show, Hardee's, and Operation Food Search, and the Holiday Food Drive. Get all the details about the campaign, or to make a donation online, head to KMOX.com/events.
Saturday night, it's men's Billikens basketball as they take on San Francisco. Pre-game 6:45, tip at 7 on your home for Billikens basketball. 104.1 FM KMOX.
Back at it. It's a Gray Bar Sports Open Line on KMOX from baseball's winter meetings in Orlando. I'm going to pull back the curtain just a bit for you. As we have been here in Orlando, many of the interviews that you have heard on this show have been interviews that are recorded during the day. There's a lot of people here, a lot of moving parts, people going around all over the place, and sometimes you grab people just whenever you are able to grab them. Now, if I get somebody during the day and then something happens and all of a sudden the interview isn't quite as relevant or something's incorrect, I'll try to go in and maybe delete something out or fix it, whatever it might be. But I'm not going to do that on this interview. We talked to Robert Murray, and I'm leaving it as is because I think it kind of gives a good feeling of the winter meetings. Murray is a baseball insider. We've had him on the show before. As we are doing the interview, the Pete Alonso news breaks. So as we start, we're talking like Pete Alonso isn't signed, and then the news breaks. But just the way that happens in the moment, I thought that was good, and I thought that gave kind of a sense of the winter meetings. So I just wanted to give a bit of a disclaimer on what you are going to be hearing coming up. But that's the way things go here at the winter meetings. Very happy to welcome on right now. He is Robert Murray. You follow him on Twitter at @ByRobertMurray, part of the Baseball Insiders podcast, also writes over at Fansided. Robert, great to see you. How are you?
I'm great. Nice memory on that one. I appreciate it.
I did not have anything in front of me when I did that.
No, that was impressive.
Okay, there you go. We've had you on a few times for sure. What's your general takeaway? It's been slow winter meetings. The Schwarber deal got done. Diaz, Matz, Finnegan, that's everything I can think of off the top of my head. Kind of a slow-moving 3 days.
It's been a very slow-moving 3 days. And the first day that I was here, and I mean that we were all here, it was really slow.
Yeah.
Like it felt like this could end up being one of the biggest snooze fests of all the winter meetings that we've been at. But then late that night, I found out that Schwarber was probably happening either that night or early the next day. And every indication was that it was going to be Philadelphia. They ended up getting him back. And from an offensive perspective, in either free agency or through trade, that immediately picked things up. Like, things ever since then have been more active. It hasn't led to deals, although I wouldn't be surprised if there's at least one that pops up either today or tomorrow. But the offensive bat market has definitely moved and picked up pace for sure. Pitching market's still slow. Like, the starting pitching market's slow. Relief market's moving for sure. But as far as the winter meetings go, this was probably one of the more quiet ones in recent memory.
Does Schwarber's signing, I'm thinking specifically about Baltimore because they reportedly were in on him. They're also reportedly in on Alonso. Does that put pressure on them to maybe try to go harder after Alonso?
I think it puts pressure on them to spend for sure. They definitely need to go out and make some sort of move. But to me, that would probably lean toward pitching, and that's the area that I've heard them most connected at. It's either been Ranger Suarez in free agency, or through trade. You can talk about a Mackenzie Gore type or even a Freddie Peralta type as well. So I expect them to be more focused on the pitching market more so than offense. I think Schwarber was just such a unique opportunity where they had front office that was convicted on him, ownership was convicted. They tried. They really wanted Schwarber. Like, they were very disappointed they didn't end up getting him, but I'm pretty convicted they will spend.
A lot has been made of the Pittsburgh offer for sure.
Alonso, there we go. How about that for timing?
So
5 years for $155 million.
Okay, so he gets just a little bit more than Schwarber got.
Yeah, that's crazy. I'm honestly, I was funny before I walked over here. I saw him and like he got a call, and I saw him like kind of panic, and I'm like, oh boy, that might be a big move. So. Clearly, the Orioles wanted to make a splash, and they ended up doing so. So I would imagine they're still going to end up being in the pitching market there for sure.
So with that being said, it does feel like maybe the Schwarber thing pushed Baltimore towards Alonso.
No, it absolutely did. I mean, I thought their focus was going to be on pitching for sure, but clearly you had the right idea there. But getting Alonso is a huge move for them.
Yeah.
They were absolutely, as I said, they were convicted on Schwarber. They wanted to add a bat, but I did not think it was going to end up being Alonso. I thought if there was going to be anything, it could be like a Bo Bichette type or someone along those lines. But clearly they wanted him, and now, I mean, shoot, that's another big splash here at the winter meeting. So that's crazy.
That may be the final thing that goes down here. We'll see. Maybe,
I think there's going to be another one that comes down. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Let's, what the Cardinals, what names are you hearing? It doesn't seem like anything's likely to get done with the Cardinals before this all wraps up. But who are the names that you think are likely to get moved maybe in the next couple weeks?
I would say a couple weeks is tough. I would say I'm just going to go from this offseason standpoint. Brendan Donovan, he is someone who is extremely coveted around baseball. Like, we've heard the Astros, the Dodgers, I mean, a bunch of different people connected to Donovan. I expect there to be more teams involved in that. I would look at a guy like Nolan Arenado. I think this could end up being the offseason where they really end up trying to move him and get that finally done. It seems like he's more open to waiving that no-trade clause more so than he was in previous seasons as well. I would also look at, I mean, we saw them move Sonny Gray before. If you move Gray and you are open to moving some of those other guys, to me, there can't really be that many untouchables. The other one, to me, would be Wilson Contreras.
Sure.
I think that's another one that makes a ton of sense. And if they do that, they obviously have the catching internally to go out and to replace him, but I wouldn't be surprised if they made an addition, maybe a low-impact move if they end up moving Contreras.
Does the market have to pick up? Because right now, trades just are not happening right now. And a lot of Cardinals fans are frustrated not hearing trades when those names you mentioned and other names have been reportedly out there. And we make so much of the winter meetings and then nothing happens. Is it a situation where the rest of the market has to pick up for probably the Cardinals to be able to start moving those guys?
Oh, for sure. Because, I mean, right now there's a ton of talks happening. Like, that's something I hear from every team involved. But the prices are just at a point where they're not willing to move on it. And yeah, like, to me, it's going to take some time for the market to move, but I would expect the trade market and even free agency to really pick up, I'd say, in the next 2 weeks. That's something I've heard from prominent people around the game, is that the market's probably going to start moving then.
Okay, I know this is a really tough question because I'm trying to put broad strokes on a situation where there's a bunch of different individual things, but who falls first on this in terms of, do teams lower their price that are selling, or do teams that are buying raise offers? Which way do you think the market's going to go?
I would say it's usually, I think it might be a mix of both, but it'll typically be prices coming down. And all of a sudden, like if you see an Alonso type, if you see a Schwarber type come off the market, then to me, you can end up seeing at least a team or two panic and try to end up making a move, whether it's through trade or through free agency. But I would expect that to end up being an indication where, a situation where the market ends up coming down, and the prices start coming down, and then that's when the moves start to happen. So it could lead to a pretty slow off season, but again, from what I've heard from some pretty prominent people here, is that the next 2 weeks are probably going to be the most active of the entire off season.
Do you feel like the looming CBA is having any impact on the market right now?
I mean, some, but I don't think it's necessarily, I mean, it's the long-term guys, I think that's going to end up really impacting, but as far as the short-term contracts, I don't think that's going to have a huge impact there. So it's something that's on the mind of every team involved here for sure, and especially with the way that they're going to be structuring contracts for money next season. But other than that, I don't see it impacting it too much.
Robert, we need to get you over here because every time you come over here, a deal's going to get done. Right?
Yeah, that's crazy. I got some calls to make here for sure. That's crazy.
Well, we will let you go for sure. Thank you so much for your time.
Hey, I appreciate it, man. Thank you.
That is Robert Murray, Fan-Sided Baseball Insiders podcast. We've got more coming up from Orlando on KMOX.
If you're one of the millions of Americans behind on your taxes, if you're afraid to open your mail because IRS collection letters could be coming, listen carefully. The IRS is cracking down, taking paychecks, freezing bank accounts, revoking passports. That's a fact. But here's what most people don't know. There are official tax relief programs designed to help struggling taxpayers. Programs that could save you thousands if you qualify. No one knows these programs better than the experts at Optima Tax Relief. Optima's award-winning team will fight to protect your paycheck, your passport, and your property. Their tax attorneys and licensed tax professionals will work tirelessly to get you the best deal possible with the IRS. Every day, penalties and interest keep piling up, so don't wait. Call Optima now for a free consultation.
Call 800-348-0269. 800-348-0269. 800-348-0269.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
At Cardinal Glennon Children's Hospital, every moment with our patients is a gift. Thanks to supporters like you, children have hope as they fight serious illness and reach incredible milestones. Please donate today at treeofhope.org.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-9834. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-9834. That's 800-575-9834. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
What's up, Missouri? Tony Gonzalez here. Your moment is finally here because DraftKings Sportsbook is live in Missouri. You can get in on all the action with fast withdrawals, a safe and secure app, and betting that's easy to use anywhere you go. And the best part, DraftKings keeps the excitement going with awesome promos and offers all season long. That's why it's America's top-rated sportsbook app. Don't wait. New customers sign up today. Bet just $5 and get $300 in bonus bets instantly. Let's go, Missouri. Get in the game.
Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code KMOX. New Missouri customers bet $5 and get $300 in bonus bets instantly. That's code KMOX. In partnership with DraftKings Sportsbook. The crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. 21 and over. Physically present in Missouri. Eligibility and restrictions apply. Terms at DraftKings.com/sportsbook. Bonus bets expire 7 days after issuance. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see sportsbook.draftkings.com/promos.
Neil Forever performs Neil Diamond live in concert at the Factory in Chesterfield on Friday, January 9th.
It's fantastic.
Friday, January 9th, Neil Forever performing all the hits of Neil Diamond at the Factory.
He is a great performer.
He's amazing.
Sounds just like Neil.
Rock and roll to get on board. Tickets at Ticketmaster.com.
Attention, have you racked up $10,000 or more in credit card debt? Are you barely getting by making minimum payments? With credit card debt reaching all-time highs, National Debt Relief is notifying consumers about significant debt relief options currently being made available to help those with overwhelming credit card debt. These options may reduce a large portion of credit card debt for those who qualify. You don't need to declare bankruptcy or take out a consolidation loan, and you may only have to pay back a fraction of what you owe, even if you have bad credit. National Debt Relief has already reduced the credit card debt for more than 550,000 consumers, so don't wait. If you owe $10,000, $20,000, or even $100,000 in credit card debt, you can now take advantage of this financial debt relief as the cost of living continues to skyrocket. To check what debt reduction you may qualify for, call 800-894-7722. That's 800-894-7722. Again, 800-894-7722.
Welcome back to the Gray Bar Sports Open Line. Once again, Matt Pauley on KMOX.
It's Gray Bar Sports Open Line right here on KMOX. Very happy to welcome on the program. He's a former big leaguer. He had a really big moment in the World Series. He's also a former Stan Musial Award winner. He is Brett Phillips. Brett, thanks for stopping by.
Yeah, I appreciate any chance I can get to talk with someone from St. Louis. I want to take the opportunity, especially the ballpark is amazing. The fans are awesome in St. Louis. And, the first time in my career where I've ever seen an opposing team cheer for a good play, just a great play, was in St. Louis. St. Louis fans, I feel like, are some of the classiest. Back to what I was saying, any chance that you get to talk, take advantage.
You and I were talking yesterday, and you were a Stan Musial Award winner, and you told me that presentation that night was almost a life-changing event for you.
Yes, it was. So Chloe, who was 8 years old at the time, she was battling cancer for the second time in her life, and she had picked me as her favorite player when I was playing with Tampa Bay. She got to throw out the first pitch to me, and it was special. She really put my life in perspective, especially at a time when I was really struggling in my career when it came to statistics. And here we have an 8-year-old girl who's battling cancer, but she can show up with a smile on her face and full of joy, and that gave me no excuse. And so what ended up happening was she was being interviewed during the game. Brett Phillips is my favorite player. He's got a great smile. He likes to do the airplane, and I'm up to bat, and I hit a homer, furthest ball of my career at the same time. And man, it was just a special moment after the game. We ended up getting the ball and bringing it to her and just kind of encouraging her and motivating her to continue to just be who she was. And we ended up being presented the Stan Musial Award after the season, which was super special. It's probably the greatest moment of my career. I know I've had the moment in the World Series, which was really fun, but this just meant more than baseball, and it meant something more than myself, that I was able to give that moment to a girl in need, and she was able to give, she'll always have a way more impact on me than I did on her. And so that was incredible.
It says so much about you that, because you're known for the walk-off hit against the Dodgers in the World Series, the crazy play, the ball getting away at home plate, and the run scoring. You're known so much for that play, yet you talk about a moment like that being the real biggest moment of your career.
Yeah, again, like I said, it was more than baseball, and it came at a time where maybe I was looking a little too much inward, and kind of my failures, they seem to be magnified. And then a little girl who's battling cancer for the second time comes, and she's got a smile on her face, and she's full of joy. Like, there was no reason for me not to mirror that in my struggles that were nowhere even close to what she was going through. And it really gave me perspective and opened my eyes to how I need to continue to live my life on a daily basis.
We're talking with former big leaguer Brett Phillips. You recently announced your retirement. What's next for you? I know you're here at the winter meetings trying to figure that out a little bit.
Yeah, just pursuing all facets of the game where I believe I could bring value, but ultimately hoping to pursue something with the Tampa Bay Rays. What that looks like, we don't know, but I definitely want to be on the fan engagement side of things, business operations, and hopefully we can get something figured out, because born and raised in St. Pete, had a chance to play for the Rays. Quick story, my grandma took me to the first Fan Fest in 1998 when the Rays expanded. I was 4 years old, and ever since then I loved the Rays and I wanted to play for them, and those dreams came true. So how can I share those experiences to other fans and families who live in the area to say, hey, like, this can happen. Like, you don't know how much of an impact just showing up to a stadium, a big league stadium, can do for, the people around you that you're given that opportunity to.
We first crossed paths in Milwaukee when I was doing stuff with the Brewers, and you were playing with the team. You've always been. I remember one time Council's talking in the dugout, and you're hiding underneath the thing. I mean, you've always been a guy that's found a way to have fun. I will go with that.
Yeah, out of control. I don't know. I didn't grow up with a professional baseball player that I could get information from to show me the ropes. A lot of players, they have pedigree, or their fathers played, or I didn't have that, and I always played baseball because it was really fun and I was good at it. So then as I continued my career, what you saw is what you got, and what I was thinking probably wasn't the right way of going about it in other people's eyes, but I had a blast doing it. And so I don't know what, sometimes things come over me, or I'm like, I'm gonna go hide under a bench and mess with Council. I don't know what's gonna come from that, but it was fun.
Well, baseball is a better game when you are involved with it, so best of luck moving forward. It's great to catch up a little bit.
Great talking with you, Matt. Take care.
That is Brett Phillips. We'll take a break, have more in just a moment. It's a Gray Bar Sports Open Line on KMOX.
Time now for today's Spotlight on Tech, sponsored by Wesley Financial.
Apple has rediscovered its mojo in China. Counterpoint Research says that iPhone 17 sales have boomed in China since the new lineup debuted in September, enabling Apple to grab 25% of China's smartphone market. iPhone 17 sales are up double digits compared to the 16 series a year earlier, and Counterpoint says that the 17 accounts for 80% of Apple's sales in China.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. No, we're not one of the big guys. Truth is, we don't want to be. If you're over 50, Big Wireless probably has you paying for more data than you might need. You could be throwing away thousands over a lifetime.
Our entry-level data plans start at just $20 a month. And for a limited time, switch and get your second month free. Call 1-888-FREEDOM, visit consumercellular.com or a store near you and get your second month free today. Plans include $5 credit for auto-pay and e-billing. See site for additional details.
Hey, Missouri, if you haven't heard by now, FanDuel Sportsbook is live here in the Show Me State, and they're kicking things off with an offer that is really tough to beat. So right now, new customers can bet $5 and then get $300 in bonus bets. Whether you win or lose that initial $5 bet, you get those $300 bonus bets either direction. And it doesn't matter what you're choosing. Whether it's football, basketball, hockey, you can bet it all on an app that is safe, secure, and super easy to use. I've been on it since the app launched years ago. I just couldn't play in Missouri until now. Now I get to, and you can do. So download FanDuel today or head to FanDuel.com/Missouri to join in on the excitement, because Missouri, it's time to play your game with FanDuel. Remember, 21 and older and present in Missouri. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. First online real money wager only. $5 first deposit is required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable bonus bet that expires 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com.
When you want a brand new kitchen, there's nothing to it. There's a brand new way to do it. 3-day kitchen and bath.
Roger, tell us about your experience working with 3-day kitchen and bath.
We just had a very fine experience with the work that 3-day kitchen and bath had done on our home. They had taken out walls and put in a new kitchen and a new bath, and did it in an extremely timely manner with some of the finest workers that we've been associated with. Easy to work with. They did what we asked them to do. And each of the subs that they had, whether it was putting in the bath, the shower stalls, and they came in a timely manner. The plumber was here on time. The electricians were here when they said they would be here, and things just worked out really well for us. And I've done it myself, and it'll probably take me 2 years.
It's about time.
3 days or less
at 3-day kitchen and bath.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
I'm Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group. Did you buy a timeshare because they told you it was a great investment? That's a lie. Most timeshares can be bought online for $1. To find out what your timeshare is worth and to cancel it, call us today and we'll send you our timeshare exit kit free with all your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley for your free exit info guide. 800-941-2255. That's 800-941-2255.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. No, we're not one of the big guys. Truth is, we don't want to be. If you're over 50, Big Wireless probably has you paying for more data than you might need. You could be throwing away thousands over a lifetime.
Our entry-level data plans start at just $20 a month. And for a limited time, switch and get your second month free. Call 1-888-FREEDOM, visit consumercellular.com or a store near you and get your second month free today. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. See site for additional details.
Hey guys, it's Glover. As you know, we have been raising money for Operation Food Search over the past 7 years. Now we have a new way for you to give. Our friends over at Bissinger's Chocolates have created Dave's Faves, a collection of 7 of my favorite truffles. You can get them at Bissinger's. You can also get them online at bissingers.com. They're $20 a box. There are 7 of my favorite truffles in there, and all the money goes to Operation Food Search. Help us out. Time is running out.
The Dave Glover Show, weekdays at 1 on 104.1 FM, KMOX. Celebrating 100 years of informing and entertaining. KMOX AM St. Louis, KMOX FM Hazelwood, the voice of St. Louis.
This is CBS News on the Hour, sponsored by Steel.
I'm Jennifer Kuiper. The U.S. military has taken out suspected drug boats and sanctioned the Maduro regime, but the Trump administration went after the oil, Venezuela's main source of revenue, until now. It has seized an oil tanker near that country. CBS's Charlie D'Agata with the latest.
Venezuela has the largest oil reserves in the world, producing around 1 million barrels a day, much of it under U.S. sanctions. President Trump was asked what the U.S. plans to do with the oil on board the tanker.
I guess so. We're going to keep the oil.
The mission also included members of the Coast Guard and the Marines, who launched from the USS Ford aircraft carrier now based in the region.
Venezuela's foreign ministry says it strongly denounces and condemns what constitutes blatant theft and an act of international piracy. The atmospheric river soaking Washington state for a second time in a week is prompting evacuations that could reach into the tens of thousands by the end of the week. KIRO's Heather Bosch is there.
With dozens of rivers spilling over their banks,
a police officer stopped by about 45 minutes ago and just said they're evacuating.
Residents in part of the Pierce County town of Ording were told to go. In Snohomish County, people are rounding up farm animals and leaving Eby Island.
I got to get my neighbor's goats out. He's got 14.
And in Skagit County, where the Skagit River is expected to crest at record-breaking levels, Washington Emergency Management Director Robert Ezel says,
what we're hearing from the county is they're preparing to evacuate 75,000 people who are living in the low-lying areas.
Heather Bosch for CBS News, Seattle.
The Federal Reserve cuts its benchmark interest rate by a 0.25 percentage point, bringing it to about 3.6%. When it comes to vehicle loans, WWJ's Jeff Gilbert reports.
We've seen car loan rates drop, and this third cut of the year could accelerate that. Any relief is needed as car payments now average over $700 a month.
Calling a part of the National Defense Authorization Act shameful, the head of the National Transportation Safety Board is calling for Congress to prevent the provision that would open up skies around Washington, D.C.'s airport to more military training flights. NTSB Chair Jennifer Homedy says the investigation of the deadly plane and helicopter collision in January reveals a need to limit training flights in that area.
It represents an unacceptable risk to the flying public, to commercial and military aircraft crews, and to the residents in the region.
The Who frontman Sir Roger Daltrey has been awarded his knighthood by the Prince of Wales. The 81-year-old rocker has been recognized for services to charity and music. This is CBS News.
Check off the wish list with instant savings and free battery offers on select Steel tools. Shop online at steelusa.com or in-store.
At 7:03, it's cloudy and 34 degrees downtown at the Arch. Good evening, I'm Scott Jagow. Our top story this hour, the Board of Aldermen planning to ask voters if they can use the funds for the Metrolink light rail expansion to add bus lines instead. Do they need permission?
That question was raised to Aldermanic President Megan Green during the committee meeting. She says they wish to ask voters either way as a show of good faith.
Just because there is perhaps a legal case that could be made that we don't need to go back to voters, I don't think that means that we should.
In contrast from the original bill, which restricted this money on a train line, the new bill keeps the city's options open for a train line instead of a bus line if the political landscape changes. Green held this bill in committee with no vote at this time. Sean Malone, KMOX News.
Changes could be coming to people who use SNAP benefits in Missouri. Today, the U.S. Department of Agriculture approved the state's request to ban the use of SNAP to buy candy, soda, and other junk foods. Missouri's request also allows for the purchase of hot, ready-to-eat rotisserie chicken through SNAP. The changes will take effect next October. It's part of the Trump administration's Make America Healthy Again movement. Sportscaster Joe Buck says he's humbled to receive the Ford C. Frick Award, baseball's top broadcasting on the Hall of Fame. Buck's father, Jack, won it in 1987. The father-son duo is the first to receive the award. At 56, Joe is the second youngest Frick Award winner. Now your forecast.
We've got plenty of clouds, some snow flurries here and there. 28 will do it for the overnight low, so not changing a heck of a lot from where we are right now. Thursday, mostly cloudy, a couple of snow flurries. It's a cold 35. Friday, partly sunny and 40. Very cold weather, the coldest so far this season for the weekend. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Dave Murray on 104.1 FM, KMOX.
And I'm Scott Jagow, KMOX News.
Welcome back to the Gray Bar Sports Open Line. Once again, Matt Pauley on KMOX.
We are into hour number 2 of a Gray Bar Sports Open Line right here on KMOX. My name is Matt Pauley. One more hour in Orlando, and then coming up tomorrow, we will have the initial countdown to opening day show here on KMOX and also across the Cardinals radio network. We've done this just about this time every day this week. Each day we've gotten the opportunity to talk with Cardinals President of Baseball Operations, Chaim Bloom, and we like to be able to bring back some of what he had to say. So as the winter meetings wrapped up earlier today and the Cardinals leave without pulling off a trade, Chaim said essentially that the Cardinals did not get any closer to any deals today.
Pretty similar vibe to the last couple days, just ongoing conversations. All the planes are still in the air right now. Some Rule 5 talk as part of our day, just working through different possibilities, both the major and the minor league side. Happy with the work that our crew put into that. We'll see. We'll be in transit for some of it, but there's still plenty of day left.
As we have talked about, it was the Rule 5 draft today, and the Cardinals, again, we've mentioned this a fair amount today, but the Cardinals do go out and make a selection as they bring in somebody who projects out to be a relief, Matthew Pushard from the Miami Marlins organization. You look at his minor league numbers, has good swing and miss, also somebody who can throw multiple innings, and that seems to be the big thing right now, that Chaim is very concerned about having a young young starting rotation, so the idea is to build a bullpen that has multiple guys that can go multiple innings just to relieve some of the pressure on starting pitching and on the bullpen as well, for that matter. So Pushard seems to fit the profile of somebody who can give you more than 3 innings on any given night, and Bloom did say that he's looking for a bullpen with guys who can throw multiple innings.
You have to do that because especially when you have some less experienced starters that you're going to try to support, you can't just have 1-inning guys out there. And especially when you're looking at someone in the Rule 5, that you need to, if you're going to put them on your team, you need to feel committed to at least trying to keep them. It's easier to do that if you have someone who can go multiple ups and just gives the staff more options to be able to use a player.
There was a lot of bullpen talk today with Heim, just because you got a new relief pitcher coming into the organization. One area that the team doesn't have a whole lot of right now, and could have even less of here at some point in the near future, is veterans. JoJo Romero is kind of that veteran guy right now, but he continues to be very much connected to trade talk. But Bloom does believe that there is a need for veterans in the bullpen.
To me, it is not so much about losing at the end, although obviously you don't want that, as much as it is having people that can show younger players the ropes. We've had that the last couple of years. We've had really good, not just on-field results, but really good mentorship last year provided by Phil, and before that with Kit. I've seen the value of that in my other stops as well. It's hard to always know in advance where that's going to come from, but obviously it's hard for it to come from people who don't have enough under them to be really comfortable in helping others. So definitely something that's on our mind, not just with the guys that we have, but also as we go through the winter, looking to round out that bullpen, definitely something that's going to be on our mind.
So again, this kind of all comes back to JoJo Romero. We'll see what the roster ends up looking like, but when it comes to bringing in a veteran reliever, they could be in the market for a righty or a lefty, depending on what the roster might look like.
We're not going to discriminate in terms of handedness when it comes to both talent and then the ability to lead guys, especially with a lot of younger pitchers. Sometimes those guys are getting their feet wet in the pen. That can be really helpful, but you want someone that can help show them the ropes.
And again, that is somewhat connected to Romero. If somehow, some way, Romero does not get traded, he's certainly somebody who checks a lot of those boxes that were just mentioned.
You look at the progression of JoJo's career, and he at one point was that guy trying to find his footing and figure it out. And you could see year over year as he does that, not only is there more trust and reliability there from the standpoint of the staff using him, but also it's something other players can feed off of.
And this was kind of funny from Bloom today. If you remember, if you were listening around this time yesterday, you may have heard his comments about Brendan Donovan being very popular. And generally, he doesn't really comment on players and trade talks and things like that. But he went on the MLB Network stage and he mentioned something. So then he mentioned something to us that Brendan Donovan was very popular. So today he was asked the question about the popularity, and of course this is connected to trade talks, the popularity of JoJo Romero.
I wish I hadn't opened the door on assessing the relative popularity of our players yesterday. I promised you guys candor, and then I walked out of there. I'm like, this isn't the best precedent to be setting. I'm not going to start power ranking our players in terms of the number of incoming calls.
That'll be really fun.
JoJo's he's pretty talented. We're really happy we have him.
Certainly a fun moment there from Heim Bloom. All right, let's jump to a few yesterday about the core of players. And I think we can all sit here and say somebody like Mason Wynn is part of your core, right? That's going to be somebody who you're going to be able to move forward with, and you hope that when you're back to a competitive window, a more competitive window, that Wynn is still around. But when talking about identifying those, quote-unquote core players, he really didn't want to do that. He said players can be part of that core moving forward. They can be acquired from the outside, but they can also be developed from the current group.
I would never sit here and say, this player is, this player isn't. I just don't think it is productive for us to think that way. And also, the game is harder than that. It's more humbling than that. And if you try to ever draw those lines, you will get proved wrong. Players will surprise you. They'll surprise you positively. Sometimes they'll surprise you negatively. I think our job as an organization is to do everything we can to expose ourselves to those positive surprises by doing the right things by players to help them improve, give them a chance to get better, give them a chance to realize their upside. So for me, it's really just looking up and down the organization, from the big leagues all the way down to the DSL, and see the potential that we have in players to grow into players that can be part of that. And I do think we have a lot of that potential in the system. But obviously, like I said yesterday, we don't have enough of it on our major league field right now, or the results of recent years would have been different. So that's our job, is to keep adding to it, whether that's by bringing in talent through the amateur systems, developing players, or going out and hunting it in trades and on the free agent market.
When it comes to acquiring, they are the new word for rebuild is talent acquisition mode, and that's what they are in right now. They are looking to acquire talent. I thought this was interesting because sometimes you think about it in terms of you're trying to acquire talent so you can contend in 2027, or you're trying to acquire talent so you can contend in 2028, whatever it might be. I made it really clear. The goal is just to bring in more talent to the organization. It's not about acquiring talent with an idea that they're going to be ready for the roster at a certain date.
It's not a timing thing for me. Okay. Of course, I want to be mindful of that when we target players, that they're guys that fit us. Mm-hmm. But if you try to get too cute and time everything up, you may lose something in trying to do that. And of course, our ultimate goal is to get to the place where we're not thinking in terms of windows, because we're able to consistently replenish a championship caliber team. I just look at it as, we have a lot of talented players, and what is it going to take to push this group up the mountain to get to the top, and feeling urgency to do that, just because we are not where we want to be.
And then the final thing, and I think this is a good way to sort of end our daily sessions with Heim, and we won't hear him talk in all likelihood to the overall media again until winter warm-up. Of course, you'll be able to hear him every Sunday morning right here on KMOX with Tom Ackerman and Sports on a Sunday morning. But those big media sessions are not something that he's going to be doing here moving forward. So let's give some positivity about this team and where it could be moving forward. And we'll start with a couple guys who, the way they play in the field, bring a lot of excitement, with Mason Wynn at shortstop and Victor Scott II out in center field. With those two guys on the team, Heim says it can be a very fun, very exciting team.
Anybody who's paid any attention to our club over the past year plus has seen this. It's, both guys have elite physical ability, and it's not just pretty to watch, which it is, but it also helps us win games. And that's always been a part of this organization's brand. It's something that it doesn't necessarily show up in the box score, but if you watch the games, you know that it matters, and it's a way to help your team and support your pitchers. It's not the only thing that matters. Obviously, offense matters too. There's a lot of things that matter, including intangibles, leadership. It all does, but usually those things is when you have good defense, it kind of compounds. Pitchers are able to go a little deeper. That takes pressure off the bullpen, some of the stuff that we were talking about earlier. So it's definitely something that we focus on, try to value it appropriately, but value it a lot.
But it can't just be those two single individuals as the reason that fans come out. And obviously the organization would like for ticket sales to go up and for more people to come to Busch Stadium this upcoming season. I don't know if that's going to happen or not. It doesn't feel like they've done a whole lot quite yet to be able to really sell that idea. But Heim did give his pitch to fans on why they should support this team this upcoming season, even at a time where we don't really going to look like.
I have thought about that some, because obviously, as you can tell, I've thought it's very important to be incredibly clear and open about what we're trying to do and why. And I understand when you do that, and when you talk about, when necessary, prioritizing the long term, that the question you ask is going to come up, and I think it's a good question. Here's what it is for me. First of all, I think we have a really, really good fan base that is locked in on this team. They're smart, and the worst thing we could do would be to be unclear with them about what we're trying to do. We're trying to deceive people. That's not going to help. The other thing that I believe, and that this has been strengthened by the chance that I've had the last year plus to really be around this organization, be around this fan base. I understand there, people, maybe one year they come to the ballpark, another year they don't come to the ballpark. But caring about this team, being a fan of this team, loving this organization, there is not an on-off switch that Cardinals fans have for that. They are in this. Like, our duty is to them to match that with what I've talked about, match that every day, how we go about our work, to bring a work product, even if it's a nondescript day at the office, to get after it on that day in a way that they deserve as our fans. So if we're honest about those things, they are in this regardless. I think that is, I hope I'm right, that that's something that in itself is something that our fans want. They're going to follow this no matter what. If we have something that, maybe a longer term goal, I'd rather be open with them about it. I still think we're going to be really exciting along the way. And like I said, we're not conceding anything in terms of what we're going to be aiming for every day. But because I believe that fandom is not something that turns on and off, I'd rather just be really clear, really purposeful in what we're trying to do, and trust that our fan base is going to be there with us.
And then the final thing from Bloom, and I think you look at this past season, if things would have gone a little bit differently, the Cardinals could have very much been right there in playoff contention. They could have been the team, not the Cincinnati Reds, that snuck into the playoffs when the New York Mets faltered down the stretch. Could that be the case again this upcoming season? Could they be a team that flirts with 500? Could they be a team that flirts with playoff contention and doing all of that? It certainly is a possibility, and Bloom is leaving open that possibility. But the idea of just sneaking into the playoffs next season, that's never going to be the ultimate goal.
Sometimes I've had experiences like this where that happens, not in spite of focusing on the right long-term things, but in some ways because you focus on the right long-term things. When the plan makes sense, sometimes it has a chance to be accelerated if it fits together. The key for me is not selling out what we're trying to accomplish to chase that in the short term.
That is Chaim Bloom, the Cardinals president of baseball operations, and a lot of appreciation going out to him for his time, his candor, his willingness to answer questions over these few days. There's a lot going on, and he found time for us in the media on an everyday basis, and that was certainly something that was appreciated, and hopefully you were able to appreciate being able to hear from him on an everyday basis as well. We'll take a break. We've got a lot more still coming up. Don't go anywhere. You are locked into a Gray Bar Sports Open Line right here on KMOX.
With Steel, batteries are included. This holiday season, give a gift that's ready to go right out of the box. For everything from cleaning up the yard to cutting up firewood, Steel tools check off the wish list and knock out the to-do list. And right now, buy select battery tool sets and get a free extra battery. Visit SteelUSA.com for holiday deals and gift ideas. Happy holidays from Steel. Offer valid for a limited time only at participating dealers while supplies last.
Hey, Ryan Reynolds here for Mint Mobile. You know, one of the perks about having 4 kids that you know about is actually getting a direct line to the big man up north. Mm-hmm. And this year, he wants you to know the best gift that you can give someone is the gift of Mint Mobile's unlimited wireless for $15 a month. Now, you don't even need to wrap it.
Visit mintmobile.com/radio. Upfront payment of $45 for 3-month plan equivalent to $15 per month required. New customer offer for first 3 months only. Speed slow after 35 gigabytes if network's busy. Taxes and fees extra. See mintmobile.com.
You're listening to Leaf Filter Radio, and the guru of gutter protection himself, Chris Coonahan, is here to take your most pressing leaf-related questions.
Hey, everybody. Chris here. I understand we have Ron on the line. Ron, where are you calling from?
Uh-oh. Ron, are you calling from a ladder?
Well, I was. I wanted to ask Chris what I need to do to get my gutters ready to have Leaf Filter installed.
Oh, Ron, you don't have to do anything. A Leaf Filter Trusted Pro will come out and clean out your gutters, realign and seal your gutters, and install Leaf Filter, America's #1 gutter protection system.
So I didn't need to get on this ladder?
Ron, Leaf Filter Trusted Pros are in your neighborhood and ready to help. Just visit leaffilter.com/free gutter inspection and get up to 30% off.
Thank goodness. What was that site?
To get this special radio offer, go to leaffilter.com/deal for your free gutter inspection today and get up to 30% off. That's leaffilter.com/deal for up to 30% off. leaffilter.com/deal. See representative for warranty details.
Hey, good morning. You're heading to the airport, right?
Yep, thanks for checking. I like the car. How long have you been a rideshare driver?
About 3 years now. I really enjoy it.
Isn't it hard to make money these days with the price of gas being so high?
Not for me. I use Upside, the free app that gives you cash back for every gallon of gas you buy. buy.
Wait a minute. Are you saying you actually get real money back when you get gas with the Upside app?
Yep, I get real cash back every time I get gas.
Does that actually add up to anything?
I'll make around $200 to $300.
Wow, that's serious extra cash. I'm downloading the Upside app now.
Download the free Upside app now to earn real cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code RAIN to get up to a $5 per gallon bonus on your first tank. You can cash out anytime, right to your bank account, PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code RAIN to get up to a $5 per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code RAIN.
Give the best of Broadway right here in St. Louis. Muni season tickets are on sale now, just in time for the holidays. Our 2026 season includes Hairspray, Shrek the Musical, South Pacific, Disney's Newsies, Ain't Too Proud, The Life and Times of the Temptations, Meet Me in St. Louis, and Something Rotten. See all 7 shows starting at just $126. For tickets, visit muni.org.
Working full-time but still falling behind? Learn how real estate education can help you build income and get ahead on your terms. Text radio to 88007. That's RADIO to 88007. Presented by Lifestyles Unlimited.
Don't miss Mosby Building Arts Home Improvement Show, Saturdays from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. on KMOX. One of the last call-in shows where you can get live answers to your remodeling, design, and construction questions. Tune in Saturdays at 11 a.m.
This is Molly Highland, daughter of Robert Highland. Congratulations, KMOX, the voice of St. Louis, on a century of service.
It's Graybar Sports Open Line right here on KMOX as we broadcast from baseball's winter meetings in Orlando. One of my favorite people to be able to talk to, and I talk to him every single year, and he's involved in an organization that I just really respect what they do for so many reasons. His name is Kemp Golden. He is the founder of Because Baseball. Because Baseball takes the game of baseball to African countries, to Egypt, and it's amazing to see you, Kemp. How are you?
Matt, it's great to be here, and I'm so grateful to be here with you again. It is a highlight of winter meetings to get to sit down with you and catch up and just share a little bit with your listeners about what we're doing over in Egypt.
So I'm sure there's people listening right now that have not heard our conversations over the last couple of years. Give a background on the organization Because Baseball and what you guys do.
Yeah, Matt, it's pretty simple. We use baseball to bring people together, and what we're doing in Egypt is bringing kids all around this sport, or all around Egypt, around the sport of baseball. We have girls and boys. We have kids from all social strata. We have orphans playing together. We work with special needs kids, have a special partnership with the Special Olympics, and we bring them all around the game of baseball and just let them become friends, using baseball as a common language, as a bridge builder. And we take over American coaches, and they work with these kids. And so we're bringing people together at 3 different levels. At the family level, because we also teach the parents this great game, because there's nothing more beautiful than playing with your mom and dad, the game of baseball. We bring together communities, and as I mentioned, all levels of social strata in Egypt. And then culturally, we bring together East and West, Americans and Egyptian, around this great game, and the friendships that result are just absolutely beautiful.
It's a game that doesn't really exist over there that much. Now, the internet exists, so people can go on YouTube and see it, but I have to imagine that for many times these kids are throwing a baseball, catching a baseball, putting on a glove for the first time ever.
You're right, and it's funny you mention the internet and YouTube, because for many of these children, that is the only exposure they've had to the game. And so that classic pitching and catching, the shaking off of signs, right? They've seen all that. They ask, what are the fingers for, the numbers? And so they've seen that, and they have that high drama understanding of the pitcher, catcher, pitcher, batter showdown. But outside of that, it's a new game for them. But the reality is these are kids. Kids are kids wherever they are in the world, and they have a real eagerness to learn something new. And for a lot of these kids for whom soccer has been the only sport they've actually played, this is offering a whole new skill set for them to lean into. And really, in our opinion, every kid is created in a way that is different, right? All of us have different giftings, have different abilities, and to be able to offer kids a chance to discover that hand-eye coordination in a new game is really exciting to see kids lean into it and have so much joy in the sport of baseball.
What do the parents think? Because I got to think for many of them, it's brand new as well, and they may even be less familiar with the game.
Yeah, it's funny because if they've been exposed to it, similarly, it would have been on the internet. But by and large, it's more foreign to them than their children. And so, but like any good parent, you want to embrace what your kids love. So outside of having children, they may never have been interested in baseball. But when they see their children having fun, when we involve the parents, when they get to play catch with their sons and daughters, something awakens in them. I think the same thing that awakens in families here in the United States when we play the game of baseball. And so they're excited to become a part of it.
Why? I guess that's the big... Taking baseball to Egypt. It's cool, it's fun, but it's a heavy undertaking for you. So what's your why?
Well, it's funny. I had a very Field of Dreams moment in 2015, Matt, where a voice said, "Bring baseball to Egypt," and that I really leaned into that. And I did have questions, and some of my friends had questions. Am I going crazy? And I think that was a legitimate question when the idea struck. But when I did a little research, I discovered that there had been a history of baseball in Egypt, which was really fun. And even so, in ancient pictures on the walls of ancient temples, there is a pharaoh holding a bat and ball. This is from 400 BC. So, hey, I mean, no disrespect to Abner Doubleday, but maybe the Egyptians started things out a little bit a few years before him. And then MLB had two trips. 1889 with Albert Spalding, and then 1914 with Comiskey and McGraw, so with the White Sox and Giants. And so there was this ready-made storyline. So the voice wasn't as crazy as I first thought. In fact, it might have just been the next chapter in baseball's story in Egypt.
You have a lot of partners that help you. I've looked at your website, and I see you've got teams like the Giants and the A's and the Nationals who have helped you out. There's different, the RBI program with Major League Baseball, various providers of equipment and so forth. What has it been like for you as you've gone on this journey and you've picked up more and more individuals and companies like that who want to support you?
I think it's a confirming piece, right? It's validating that this idea does have legs. And what you just see is people are excited to be a part of the story. They see the pictures of the players by the pyramids. They see the joy on the kids' faces. So what equipment manufacturer doesn't want them to use their glove, right? What team doesn't want their uniform to be displayed by the pyramid? And so if you look at our Instagram, which is just Because Baseball, that's the handle on Instagram, you'll see pictures of various players that have been over, including one of St. Louis's favorite sons, Brian Jordan, who was there at our Play Ball event in June of 2024. And so that's another thing, right? We've become we are the sole MLB Play Ball event on the continent of Africa. And that's in June with Play Ball Weekend. And so each year, with the support of Major League Baseball, we bring over Major League retired players who spend a week in Egypt getting to soak in the culture, and then 2 nights coaching under the lights at the American University in Cairo. And so last spring we took, for example, Hunter Pence. So he and his wife Alexis came over and had a wonderful time, much like Brian had done the year before. And so each of these players that come over, and by the way, we have other players that come for up to a month as volunteers who used to play in majors. The impact it has on them, the impact they have on the kids, there's just this beautiful synergy that results. And so I see this crazy idea taking on flesh and bones and playing out on the field of play, that connectivity, that joy, that really change that I'd like to see, that friendship building through the game of baseball taking place right there in Cairo, Egypt.
That's a heavy commitment for some of these guys to come over for an extended amount of time. That's got to be validating to you that what you're doing is the right thing when other people are not just giving you money, not just giving you equipment, but giving you the greatest asset, which is their time.
It's so true, Matt. I mean, that is the one asset that can't be replenished. Time always wins, right? And it is validating. But I think what it also speaks to is the quality of character of a lot of these men in baseball and their families, that they want to give back, that they want to be a part of something greater than themselves. And I think that's been really, for me, exciting to see, because we hear all these stories in the world, right? If you listen to the news, you're going to assume that the world is going to hell in a handbasket, right? I mean, it is bad news after bad news, doom scrolling after doom scrolling. Just really, left to our own devices, we would believe that things couldn't be any worse. The reality is, there's good news happening. There are great people in the world, and I think elevating them, giving them platforms and the ability to live into our better angels, so to speak, that's exciting to see. And again, like I said, all of these men that have come over are just humans of outstanding character, and I've just been grateful to have them as a part of it. And I know they've been grateful, and they've been changed and inspired along the way as well.
The organization is Because Baseball. If people are listening to this interview and they want to learn more, maybe they even want to support you in some way, what's the best way to do that?
Great question, Matt, and I appreciate you asking that. As I mentioned earlier, our Instagram page is at Because Baseball, same with Twitter. So you can visit us on social media, check out some beautiful pictures. If you go to our website, www.becausebaseball.org, there's a donate button, and we're able to accept online donations as well. And if you have interest, if you're listening, you think to yourself, I'd love to think about coaching over there. I'd love to be a part of that. I'd love to be a part of Play Ball Weekend. We do take a large group of volunteer coaches over there in June every year, and so there's opportunity to actually get your hands involved in this. Teach the fly ball, the catching the fly balls, teach throwing, teach hitting to these young people, and by the way, have a game of catch at the Pyramids.
Kip Golden, he is the founder of Because Baseball. It's always great to see you. Thanks for taking some time with us today.
Well, thank you, Matt. I appreciate it.
We'll take a break. We've got more coming up. Don't go anywhere. We are in Orlando at baseball's winter meetings. It's Graybar Sports Open Line on KMOX.
Hey, it's Debbie Monterey, and can you believe it's already the holiday season? While most people are thinking about lights and gift lists, a lot of homeowners are also wondering if now is the right time to sell or if they should wait until the new year. So I'm here with Gloria Liu from Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. Gloria, what should sellers be thinking about right now?
Great question. Even during the holidays, serious buyers are still out there, and with fewer homes on the market, sellers actually face less competition. When we get into the new year, listings start to spike and competition rises. But that's never a problem for my clients because I guarantee to sell your home at your price and time frame, or I will buy it myself. Whether you want to move now or after the holidays, we'll make it smooth and stress-free.
That's why Gloria Liu is the trusted choice for St. Louis home sellers. Call 314-325-6888 or visit GloriaHasTheBuyers.com. From all of us, happy holidays, and here's to your next move being your best one. Gloria and seller must agree on price and possession date.
For 100 years, KMOX has been part of St. Louis. Now, Together Credit Union is helping celebrate that legacy. Starting in November, visit any Together Credit Union branch to pick up a KMOX 100th anniversary commemorative ornament for just $5 while supplies last. Each ornament supports Children's Miracle Network of Greater St. Louis. Together Credit Union, honoring 100 years of KMOX, the voice of St. Louis, and Children's Miracle Network of Greater St. Louis, improving the health of all children.
Hey, Cardinal Cowboy here. Who would have thought a car crash would have led to charities, TV shows, and cheering with the best fans in the world? I'm thankful for every day. And so are my friends at Renner Garage Door. They've been turning garage doors from zero to hero since 1966. With help from trusted brands like Delden, Amar, and LiftMaster, honest family-style service you can count on. So giddy up and get your free repair or replacement quote today. Giddy up!
RENNER, RENNER.
When it comes to affordable term life insurance, everyone's whistling the Big Lou tune. If you're over 50, maybe a bit porky, or have type 2 diabetes, $1 million of term insurance may only cost about $200 a month. Even if you're not in perfect health, call Big Lou, because he specializes in finding big chunks of affordable term life insurance for just about everyone. Don't let diabetes or other health glitches keep you from owning $500,000 to $1 million or more of term life insurance. For affordable term life insurance, call Big Lou. Don't hesitate. Call 800-700-6898, 800-700-6898, or visit biglou.com.
Call Big Lou, don't hesitate, 800-700-6898. Call Big Lou, don't hesitate, 800-700-6898. Visit biglou.com.
The holidays mean more travel, more shopping, more time online, and more personal info in more places that could expose you more to identity theft. But LifeLock monitors millions of data points per second, If your identity is stolen, our US-based restoration specialists will fix it, guaranteed, or your money back. Don't face drained accounts, fraudulent loans, or financial losses alone. Get more holiday fun and less holiday worry with LifeLock. Save up to 40% your first year with promo code NEWS. Visit lifelock.com. Terms apply.
Hey, can you blow up some balloons for Jack's party?
I can't. I'm so congested.
You need Sinex Saline from Vicks.
Sinex Saline Nasal Spray.
Yeah, just Sinex. Breathe.
Sinex Saline instantly clears everyday congestion associated with colds and year-round allergies with a gentle, ultra-fine mist that's no mess and easy to control.
Daddy, we need more balloons.
On it.
Enjoy life's important moments without congestion. Try Sinex Saline from Vicks. Just Sinex. Breathe. Use as directed.
The St. Louis University men's soccer team is heading to the College Cup, the Final Four of the NCAA tournament. The Pelicans face North Carolina State this Friday night. Catch all the action live starting at 7 p.m. on 104.1 FM KMOX.
Our Sports Open Line here on KMOX from baseball's winter meetings in Orlando. We always love being able to talk to our friend Sam Levitt, does pre and post with the San Diego Padres. Sam, always good to see you. How are you?
Yeah, great to see you, Matt. Always a great time of year here at the winter meetings. I don't know that it's been super eventful for either of our teams, but good to see you and good to see everybody here every year. Great event.
Yeah, so there's rumblings that A.J. Preller wants to have a big trade again. He is a swing big kind of executive. Are you expecting something big at some point?
Yeah, I don't know. Look, there's been a lot of rumblings about them maybe trying to do something big. They're in an interesting situation. I don't think they're in a position where they're looking to spend a ton of money right now with where their payroll is, and their payroll is very high. They've spent a lot of money over the years on a lot of really talented players, but I don't know that they're looking to operate in the higher end of the free agent market as far as the pricing there. So you look at what they need. The Padres, if you want to split it up into bullpen, lineup, and rotation, their bullpen is elite right now. Their lineup is really, really good right now, but they need a lot of help in the starting rotation. They have Nick Pivetta, Joe Musgrove coming off Tommy John surgery, and then after that, you honestly have a lot of question marks. I mean, maybe Randy Vasquez you can pencil in there, who's been a guy that's made a lot of starts for this team the last couple of years. So the question is, how do they find starting pitching if you're not going to add it via free agency? And I think what people are seeing and sensing is that perhaps the answer comes in dealing from positions of strength, right? Could you flip a bullpen arm into another player or prospects that then help you go get more starting pitching? Could you flip somebody in your lineup like, let's say, a Jake Cronenworth, who's a good player that's still owed a bit of money? Could you flip him and get something back? So their options with free agency are probably not super great, which then lends you to believe that maybe there's a trade to be made. But also keep in mind, A.J. Preller has made a lot of trades. So the minor league system is really not in the same place it's been. Now, one of A.J.'s magic tricks is that you'll look up by the summertime and he'll have a lot of guys there to trade. He does a great job of finding talent and developing the system back up very, very quickly. But right now, I don't know that they have a ton to trade. So it's a bit of a mystery as to how they're going to do this. But again, AJ is always up to something and is never shy to take a big swing and make a big move and make a really splashy trade, however it might look, whether that's, trading away somebody or that's trading for somebody. So we'll see.
You're going to work with a new manager again after the team separates from Mike Schultz. What's the excitement? Is there an excitement level about that?
Yeah, look, I think Craig Stammen is, number one, a great guy. I mean, he's somebody I got to know covering him in 2022, and he's been around the organization as a special assistant the last few years. You spend a couple of minutes with Craig, and you get a sense of who he is and the quality of man he is, and I think that's going to be great for this team. It's an interesting situation. He's a first-year manager. He was teammates with a lot of these guys not that long ago, so it is unique. It is going to be interesting to see how it plays out and develops, and I think he knows that. But I think Craig has all the personality traits and intangibles to be a really, really good Major League manager, and he's going to inherit a really good team. Do they have spots they need to fill? Yes, but this is a team that I expect is going to be in contention in 2026. So I'm excited to see it. He's a really, really good person, good guy, well-liked. I think he comes in, obviously, with a lot of relationships already under his belt. So I'm high on it and excited to see how it works.
I promise I won't go too deep on this, but was there any surprise from you from some of the revelations that came out after Mike Schilt left? You're talking to a lot of Cardinals fans who still have a lot of affection for Schilt.
Yeah, I mean, look, it obviously was surprising. He had years left on his contract. He won 93 games in 90 games. Obviously, the postseasons didn't go the way he wanted them to go. But I don't know how you could look at the situation and not be surprised by him deciding to well, at the time it was described as retiring from the Padres. Now, of course, he reportedly took the job, in a front office role, it sounds like, with the Orioles. Look, I'm not going to make it like I know too much about the exit and the circumstance and the wording and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, were we surprised? I certainly was. When it came out, I had no inclination of that. Some of the reporting that came out afterwards, I mean, I don't know. Obviously, there's probably no way escaping that he had success in St. Louis and it ended a little oddly, and he had success in San Diego, and again, it seems to have ended in at least a little bit of a stunning, unusual way. So, look, I enjoyed covering Mike. He obviously has done a good job, whether it was in St. Louis or in San Diego. The results speak for themselves. So it was surprising, but I think from the Padres standpoint, you now move on, and this is a team that's still, to me, very much in their competitive window with a great core of guys and MVP caliber talent. So quite frankly, from the Padres standpoint, I don't think they have time to really mess around and worry about it. It's like, all right, what's next, and how are we going to keep this thing rolling?
Sam, thanks so much for your time. Great to see you.
Of course, Matt. My pleasure.
That is Sam Levitt. We'll take a break. We got more coming up. It's a Graybar Sports Open Line on KMOX.
Save big on everything for your next project when you shop at Menards. Refresh your home today with window images, blinds, and shades. We have everything you need for updating your window treatments. We carry vinyl, aluminum, and faux wood blinds, cellular shades, and more. Plus, you can get them trimmed to width in-store for free. Also, be sure to check out the weekly flyer on Menards.com for all our great deals happening this week.
Warm season's greetings to you all from Menards.
This is Amy Mark Scores, chair of this year's Red Kettle campaign. Christmas reminds us of the challenges faced by our neighbors in need, basic needs we sometimes take for granted. When you give with joy to the Salvation Army, you transform lives. You put food on the table and provide warm beds. You give veterans and seniors purpose. You help a child experience the joy of Christmas. And 90 cents of every dollar donated goes directly to critical social services. Bring joy to the world today. Visit salarmy.us/Amy Mark Scores.
Winter Wonderland, presented by St. Louis County Parks and Recreation at Tillis Park, is now open through January 3rd. Enjoy more than 1 million dazzling lights with holiday characters and festive scenes. Whether you're carrying on a family tradition or starting a new one, you'll never see anything like Winter Wonderland at Tillis Park. Happy holidays from Kirkwood Fence, Tully Tire, Washington University Orthopedics, Restoration One, and Happy Roof. More info at KMOX.com.
SNL Coin. We buy gold and silver coins, silver and gold jewelry. Also buying gold-filled and silver plates. Before you sell, call SNL 314-544-3600. 314-544-3600. SNL Coin.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. No, we're not one of the big guys. Truth is, we don't want to be. If you're over 50, Big Wireless probably has you paying for more data than you might need. You could be throwing away thousands over a lifetime.
Our entry-level data plans start at just $20 a month. And for a limited time, switch and get your second month free. Call 1-888-FREEDOM, visit consumercellular.com or a store near you and get your second month free today. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. See site for additional details.
If you or anyone you care about is facing a family legal matter, call Cordell and Cordell today at 1-855-GET-LEGAL.
There's a lot on the line in divorce. This is Joe Cordell of Cordell and Cordell, the largest family law firm in the country, with over 35 years of helping clients navigate divorce. But being big doesn't mean less personal or less local. Our attorneys live and work in your community, and as neighbors, they understand the challenges your families face. Divorce touches all areas of your life: your home, savings, retirement, and of course, kids. So when you find yourself facing divorce, you need a partner you can count on.
If you or anyone you care about is facing divorce, contact Cordell and Cordell today. With over 100,000 clients served, we understand the challenges you're facing on a personal level. Call Cordell and Cordell today at 1-855-GET-LEGAL. That's 1-855-GET-LEGAL. The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements. 600 Kelwood, St. Louis.
Turning 50 doesn't mean slowing down. It means getting smarter about your health. That's why we created NeoVitan Men's 50 Plus Multivitamin. It's doctor formulated to support your energy, immune health, and overall vitality. Plus, it's made in the U.S. using the finest domestic and international ingredients. Take control of your health with supplements you can trust. Look for NeoVitan Men's 50 Plus at your local Schnucks, Dierbergs, or online at neovitan.com. NeoVitan, made for men who keep moving forward.
Hey guys, it's Glover. As you know, we have been raising money for Operation Food Surge over the past 7 years. Now we have a new way for you to give. Our friends over at Bissinger's Chocolates have created Dave's Faves, a collection of 7 of my favorite truffles. You can get them at Bissinger's. You can also get them online at bissingers.com. They're $20 a box. There are 7 of my favorite truffles in there, and all the money goes to Operation Food Surge. Help us out. Time is running out.
The Dave Glover Show, weekdays at 1 on 104.1 FM, KMOX.
Welcome back to the Gray Bar Sports Open Line. Once again, Matt Pauley on KMOX.
We're back at it on a Gray Bar Sports Open Line right here on KMOX, our final night of broadcasting from baseball's winter meetings in Orlando. Although tomorrow during this time you will hear the initial edition of the Countdown to Opening Day show, which will be coming your way each and every Thursday night here on KMOX from 6 o'clock to 8 o'clock. Speaking of that, I'm always alongside of Mike Claiborne for that show, and he's going to join us for a little while right now. Claib's good to see you.
Always good to see you, my friend, and another winter meeting. Just about over, and you and I will actually clock in and talk some baseball for how many weeks now leading up to opening day?
A bunch.
Yeah,
but it'll go fast. It'll go fast.
And we always, you're right, man. Before you know it, we're like, man, this is our last show. But it's good, and because I think this is fun because there's so many things that we're going to learn this year with a new regime, same manager, which I'm glad about, and I've on the record said, I think one of the first moves Chaim Bloom should make is extending the manager, because I think they get along, they understand each other, they know what's needed. But there's a lot of other things that come into play before that with regard to what this team is going to look like. And what it looks like today on a Wednesday compared to what it's going to look like on opening day is going to be different. What it looks like from opening day to 4th of July is going to be different. And what it looks like from the 4th of July to the trade deadline is going to look different. And hopefully when we're at the trade deadline, we're loading up and getting that extra bat or extra arm to get us ready for postseason.
This might actually surprise you, because I am a unabashed supporter of Oliver Marmol. I actually would
you guys are like
careful.
Cub buddies. I mean,
careful.
Yeah, you guys are like you guys. So, folks, let me tell you. I want to tell you a quick story about last year. We were at spring training, and there was a writer who was leaving early, and we were all together, and Ollie's sitting there, and so he said, "Hey, this is my last day. I'm going back to St. Louis." So Ollie says, "You taking anybody else with you?" In a jokingly manner, and so this person says, "Well, now we're laughing. I'm going to take Pauley back." And I said, "Pauley stays. Everybody else can go." So you know Ollie as well as anyone, and what a graceful person he is. And he's one of the fun reasons why we come to the ballpark. Now, does he make a mistake from time to time? Yeah, but who doesn't? I always felt, and I said it this year, Matt, watching postseason, I was saying to myself, man, if Ollie ever had enough good players, he'd be dangerous at this time of the year. Because watching him push buttons when he might be a little short in this area and that area, and then I look at a Davey Roberts who has a lot of things at his disposal. You know, I'd put Ollie in a room with any of those guys if he has enough personnel to make this work.
Yeah, I think he's really smart, and I like him as a manager. I'd pump the brakes on giving the extension right now for two reasons. One, I want him and Heim to work together in the manager-president baseball operations dynamic for just a little while. They haven't done that yet. And also, I think the messaging about this team right now, I don't want it to get muddled into a message of an extension for the manager. There's a lot of other things to focus on right now. The messaging, I think, I want the focus for fans to hear is the young guys coming forward and things like that. I'm a messaging guy, so that's part of it.
Yeah, but I think it quells the issue of you don't want your guy being a lame duck either. There's a time and place for it, and you can make that announcement in spring training, But I think to let everybody know this is our guy, he's going to be here for a bit compared to shopping his job and everybody else wondering, is this a job for somebody else? So let's get that out of the way and have some unification from the top to say this is our guy, and we're going to give him every opportunity to earn and keeping his job from now on or for a longer period of time.
There are fans that are frustrated by the lack of activity. There are fans that I think thought that these winter meetings were going to take place and we were going to walk out and Brendan Donovan and Wilson Contreras and JoJo Romero and Nolan Gorman and Lars Nootbaar and Nolan Arenado were all going to be gone. That was never the case. And I get it. It's the winter meetings. We talk it up. We talk so much about all the activity the Cardinals are going to make. But at the end of the day, it doesn't actually matter if a player gets traded on December 10th or if they get traded on January 10th or even February 10th. It's all the same.
It's more for fan appeal. They want to have something to talk about. I'm one of those guys that like to have things set when you get to Florida and you know what you're looking for and you know what you have and you're going to know what you're going to need. But I think it's more for fans to be able to have something to talk about because you're around and people say, what are the Cardinals going to do? I don't know. I know they're going to be better. They're going to work at being better than they were last year. Now, what does that look like? I don't know. I'll have to wait and see like everybody else. And, they've had time to think about this, okay? This is not something that's been thrown in their lap at the last minute. I mean, they were planning on what this looks like last year. And how they grow it from here is what we're all anxious to see.
I feel like people are connecting the word patience to the Cardinals, and I feel like that's actually messaging that's gone away a little bit. As there's a long-term aspect to this, but as Heim likes to say, they're not conceding anything for this upcoming season.
They're not tanking it. Yeah. They're not rolling over playing, saying uncle, because as bad as you can be, as we learn, just because you're bad doesn't mean you're going to get the first pick in the draft, and that first pick in the draft can't help you right now. So let's play this thing out and not get caught up in anything. And, I personally think they can be better. And in this division that they're in, I mean, you and I were here last year, and nobody thought the Milwaukee Brewers were going to do what they did. I thought it was going to be Cardinals, Cubs, and Cincinnati.
Well, Claibs, this was a great time. We'll do the Countdown Show coming up tomorrow.
Cannot wait, and you and me we'll get to know each other again because we have a lot of games coming up and down the road, and we'll have some fun with it. I just saw Adam Jones, one of the great players in the game that nobody ever talks about. So I'm going to hang out with some of my crew. This is a fun thing about this thing.
There's a lot of people walking around. That's
yes,
Mike Claiborne. I'm Matt Pauley. And that is actually going to do it for the program tonight. We appreciate you being tuned in. Thanks to everybody who was on the show. It was a jam-packed show as we wrap up our run of shows from baseball's winter meetings in Orlando. Again, tomorrow night, countdown to opening day show, 6 o'clock to 8 o'clock. Mike Claiborne and myself, we will talk to you then. Up next, it's our Gas House Gang replay right here on your home for the Cardinals, KMOX.